it back in the central position to Papenata Sarr, and now out to the right-hand side as Porro will work it to Yves Bissouma. Scored his first goal for Tottenham in their last match against Everton. An absolute cracker as well. Well worth the wait, as picked up now by Udogie. And now Bissouma once again. Midway through the Newcastle half, Tottenham playing from right to left in the changed blue-grey shirts, shorts and socks. Newcastle in the black and white shirts, the black shorts and the black socks. There's a little deflection, will carry the ball into the Newcastle area, but well dealt with by Tino Livramento, fresh from his first senior England call-up this week. Heads it back to Nick Pope, who bowls it out to the right-hand side, and Joelinton is racing down the left into the Tottenham half. Good pace to the game in the early stages here at St James's Park as Joelinton picks it up, early ball into the penalty area. And pounced on by Vicario. Pat Nevin.
Well, I just hope it keeps on going this way. I mean, what we expected was both teams, when they get an opportunity to go and attack, they'll go and attack. And that's the way it started just now in Newcastle, particularly when they're playing at home. That's the way they like to do it. I suppose the most intriguing thing we were waiting to see about Newcastle at the start of the game, with both Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes playing, who would play right, who would play left, and it's Anthony Gordon playing the right. To be honest, I don't think it matters to him. Right, central, you know, or the left, or even behind the strikers. He's perfectly capable of doing all those. Yeah,
and I'm sure we'll see them swap throughout the game as well. But as Pat says, Gordon is starting on the right and Barnes on the left. We'll take you through the lineups in a moment. But Vicario has the ball all in bright yellow on this cloudy, overcast day here in the northeast of England as the rain starts to drizzle down here at St James's Park, and Newcastle give the free kick away on the far side, so a good time to take you through the teams. Nick Pope in goal, back in the England squad as well, his first call-up since the 2022 World Cup this week. Alongside him in that squad, Tino Livramento. He is at right back for Newcastle, then it's Emil Krafft-Dunburn and Lloyd Kelly making up the back four. Ahead of them, Longstaff, Guimaraes and Joelinton, with Barnes and Gordon supporting Isak up top as the ball is forward, looking for the run of Kulusevski in that central position. It's collected by Lloyd Kelly out of the penalty area for Newcastle, left-hand side, forward to Joelinton. Lovely ball to Guimaraes under pressure, and Guimaraes is trying to set Harvey Barnes away down the left-hand side. Sliding challenge from Dragusin was a good one. Goes out of play for a Newcastle corner. Well, first test for Dragusin, the Romanian centre-half, making his first appearance of the season in the absence of the injured Mickey van der Ven. Did well there.
He did well there. The question in his pace, is he quick enough to stay with Barnes? In this case, just about. I think he's a wee bit fortunate it wasn't Gordon, because I don't think he would have stayed with him.
Yeah, they might be swapping sooner rather than later in terms of which side those two are on. But let's see. It's Anthony Gordon preparing to take this corner for Newcastle from the far side. Pat 6-yard box, and that's where the ball goes, and the header is flicked across it. Will be collected by Son Heung-min for Tottenham out of the penalty area. He's very well dispossessed by Alexander Isak. Tottenham haven't really started well here as Isak goes for the chip, and it bounces off the top of the woodwork. Vicario on the stretch was beaten, and it's off the bar from Isak and bounces away to safety. Well, so unlucky, Newcastle's top scorer from last season. It's one of those cross-bum shots that rattles the woodwork as Newcastle have the ball inside their own half, and they've come so close to taking the lead in the early stages here at St James's.
I would say 98% of players, I'd say, nah, bad cross, didn't mean it. It's Isak, he probably did. He's went for the goal there. That was very, very unlucky, and the way he won the ball back as well. The way that this has actually started today, this actually feels like a cup tie more than a league game, right from the start of the game. And he's so unlucky there. Keeper was not getting to that. Vicario really struggling.
And I think you're spot on, Pat. You see that again. He's gone for it. He's gone for the chip. It's a really tight angle. It's a brilliant effort from Alexander Isak. And the woodwork, the crossbar, saves Tottenham. 6 minutes gone here on 5 Live. And we're goalless by the width of that crossbar here at St James's Park between Newcastle and Tottenham as Joelinton does well down the left-hand side. But the whistle's gone from referee Rob Jones. Just a little bit too much pressure on Pedro Porro. And Tottenham have a free kick midway inside their own half, far right-hand side. So Vicario in goal for them, the back four of Porro, Romero, Dragusin and Udogie. Ahead of them, it's Sarr and Bissouma, with Kulusevski, Maddison and Oliver supporting Son Heung-min up front. But at the moment, it's Kulusevski who's playing through the middle. Son's out on this left-hand side, Odebear out on the right. So, again, as we mentioned, Dominic Solanke injured, Richarlison as well. Son has played through the centre already this season against Everton, got a brace as well in their last match, but at the moment, he's wide. Kulusevski's through the centre, and Tottenham have a throw deep in Newcastle territory.
I'll tell you who'd be interesting to watch as well, Odebear. Real skills. I mean, does the same thing quite a lot, but it's a good trick. He's got really quick feet, so we shall see when he gets one-on-one with the defender at some point today.
Flag's gone up on the far side for an offside, and Newcastle have a free kick. Yes, arrived this summer, the 19-year-old Wilson Odebear from Burnley after their relegation, 25 million. Scored 5 goals for Burnley last season. Played pretty regularly in the Premier League as well, as we see a shot of Sandro Tonali on the bench, and there are still Italian flags emblazoned with his name adorning the stands here at St James's Park as Nick Pope sends the ball over the halfway line. Managed 62 minutes in the League Cup against Nottingham Forest in midweek, a tie that Newcastle won on penalties. He has been training throughout that 10-month ban for breaching betting regulations that was handed down by the Italian FA. Breaches during his time in Italy. But there's a complete difference, obviously, between full training and a full match. As Kulusevski through the centre, taking on Dan Burn, who gets the foot in, steers it back to Nick Pope. He clears over the halfway line. Here is Anthony Gordon, traps the ball well. He's got Isak ahead of him. Really good start this from Newcastle. Out to the left-hand side, and Harvey Barnes approaching the penalty area. Went for the curler! Not too far away. Newcastle have started superbly here at St James's.
They look fantastic on the break. We know what Anthony Gordon's capable of, and of course Isak is just such a talented player. He's got the pace, he's got the vision, he's got everything. But Harvey Barnes, although highly rated, I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I think he's got a brilliant football brain, and certainly as good as the players that he's playing alongside today. Very unlucky not to get so many games last season. There was injury, etc. But keep an eye on him. He's a special player if he gets a game every week.
Tottenham in possession. Maddison really pressured though outside his own penalty area. He's got 3 black and white shirts around him. He's done well to play it out to Bissouma on the left-hand side. Has Son ahead of him, but goes in field instead. Bissouma to Maddison. It's goalless here at St James's Park. 9 minutes gone. Frenetic start here on 5 Live in the Premier League. Chelsea against Crystal Palace is over on the BBC Sport website. That's also 1:30 kick-off, full commentary of that. And Manchester United against Liverpool follows on 5 Live at 4 o'clock. As Bissouma picks it up out to the left-hand side. Newcastle sitting deep as Udogie brings it forward for Tottenham. And now Son Heung-min sends it once more to Bissouma. Central position. As Tottenham just enjoy a rare spell of possession. And Dragishin will send it all the way back to Christian Romero. Both sides unbeaten so far in their respective campaigns. In fact, in the Premier League, identical records. 1 draw, 1 win apiece. As Romero has it on the halfway line, and Dragishin will now pick it up. Sends the ball forward, looking for the run of Odebear down the right-hand side. Picked up by Kulusevski, edge of the penalty area, but the offside flag's up. A couple of times in the opening 10 minutes that Tottenham have just strayed beyond the last defender, and it's a free kick to Newcastle. Pat Nevin.
A little bit unfortunate there. Odebear had a really good touch. I think Kulusevski, who knew he was offside, tried to get out of the way and he couldn't quite get out of the way. He touched the ball and it was offside. Had he not, Odebear was on.
Longstaff dispossessed. Tottenham play it forward quickly to Kulusevski, and now Udogie, left-hand side, midway through the Newcastle half. It's goalless. It's Son Heung-min. Interchanges passes with Maddison. Pulls it back to Romero. Tottenham just starting to settle a little in the last couple of minutes after that fast-paced Newcastle start. Newcastle already hitting the bar. Wonderfully inventive effort through Alexander Isak as Tottenham win a corner over on the far side.
Intriguing the way Newcastle play. When they lose the ball, they get right back, very deep, and they've got 4 and a 5 right in front of the 18-yard line and say, OK then, try and get beyond us. They're just squeezing that area. They're not letting players like Maddison get any space yet.
Taking the corner short, Tottenham. They're 2-on-2. It's whips in right-footed now, and brilliant, almost saved by Pope. But the ball is squeezed in, but the flag is up on the far side. Christian Romero was up there. He met it well, but it's been ruled out for offside. Pope did so well to stick a foot out and get something on it. The power of the effort from Romero just took it past the England goalkeeper, and he is clearly offside. Powerful header. And rightly, the goal is ruled out and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, there was 3 of them offside there. However, 2 things about that. Romero is very dangerous in the air. He's not the tallest centre-back we've ever seen, but he's dangerous in the air. But the other thing, it underlines what Newcastle are doing this season. Their organisation as a group, as a unit, as a defence, they all came out together there in the same time, on the line together. That's really good work. That just doesn't happen by luck. That's Eddie Howe working them as a group, as a defence.
Free kick to Newcastle. Lloyd Kelly is down just outside the centre circle, and we are still goalless as VAR now flashes up inside the stadium on the screen. They did have a quick check, they always do, but I don't think anybody expected that to be given. Not even Christian Romero. You can always tell, can't you, when it's that offside. A player doesn't even bother celebrating.
It's a classic. Well, but terrible at that Titanic. They're a wee bit behind the time here, aren't they, with that VAR? I thought it was supposed to be getting quicker.
Well, they have confirmed it inside the stadium, so nobody can be in any doubt, even though the ball is up the other end of the pitch. Here is Livramento down the right-hand side, lays it off to Gordon. Now Longstaff for Newcastle. Goalless here on 5 line, out to the left-hand side. Brilliant ball by Longstaff. It's collected well by Harvey Barnes, and now Joe Linton down to the byline, dints the ball across, ball delivery. Romero has time to chest down and head away. Offside flag is up. I feel like I've said that about 10 times in this first half. This time it's against Newcastle. So let's head for an update. Chelsea against Crystal Palace as Hale Sahi.
13 minutes played here, Vicky, at Stamford Bridge. Glorious sunshine. Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0. The first chance has fallen to the home side. Cole Palmer with a left-footed shot 22 yards away, just wide. Dean Henderson was well and truly beaten. Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thanks very much to Hale. Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website, and we are goalless here in the northeast between Newcastle and Tottenham. There's Romero, he's had a goal ruled out rightly for offside, plays it forward, and Maddison now as Tottenham go through the gears. Here is Son approaching the penalty area, left hand side, taking on Emil Krafth. Son's ball in just ahead of Kulusevski. Odegaard will retrieve, but he's forced out of the penalty area. Plays it back now to Pedro Porro joining the attack, and now Pape Matar Sarr lays it off to Yves Bissouma. Sarr once again out to the right hand side, and Odegaard in his long sleeve shirt as he whips it in right footed, and Pope will claim. It is August, it is chilly here in the northeast. He's not the only one with long sleeves today. Odegaard, the doggy's got them as well.
I never like correcting you, but I believe it's September.
Oh, you're right. Do you know what? You're totally right, it's the 1st of September. That just shows how quickly this
summer went
season's going already. Well done, Pat. There we go. Happy September, everyone. Anthony Gordon picked it up down this right-hand side, approaching the penalty area. Sliding challenge by Romero was an awkward one. He won the ball, but can't prevent the corner. Newcastle United had the set piece from this right-hand side. Yeah, a really good play by Romero. Udogie had been done for pace there. Gordon flying away from him. Romero comes over, sliding tackle. I thought it was going to be one of those ones where he celebrated it. Maybe a bit too late to do that. So corner to Newcastle. Still goalless here at St James's Park. Newcastle have looked the better side. They've hit the woodwork through Isak. What can they do here? Do Anthony Gordon, who raises both arms in the air. Movement on the edge of the 6-yard box. Joe Linton is there. He wins the header. It loops up. Vicario jumps and punches, but not quite away. Krafth trying to scoop it back in, and it's blocked away on the edge of the 6-yard box for another Newcastle corner.
It's very noticeable because Dan Burn always goes up for the corner kicks and the free kicks. Everyone just goes towards him. The ball goes towards them, but what then tends to happen is other people get a little bit of space, and that's exactly what happened there. By the way, we'll note this later. Dan Burn, during open play, is putting himself in a centre forward position. Very strange for a centre back.
Yeah, interesting spot pass as Gordon goes over to the far side and raises his left arm in the air. Dragishin's gone down, little tussle with Joe Linton, and referee Rob Jones is just telling Gordon to wait as he walks into the penalty area. Joe Linton spreading his arms in a gesture of innocence. Dragishin coming over to have a word both with Joe Linton and Rob Jones, who is just saying quite clearly, no more nonsense, let's get on with the corner. Anthony Gordon raises that left arm in the air once more, pack 6-yard box again, and he loops it into that again, and the header is flipped over the bar. But they're really not dealing with those set pieces. There's Lloyd Kelly up from the back for Newcastle, but they are causing Tottenham real problems from those corners.
They certainly are. I mean, they're a big physical side, but they're talented as well. But it's the quality of the ball as well. They're getting that from Barnes, they're getting that from Gordon. Even Green Harris, when he takes it as well. So real quality balls in there, asking a lot of questions of Vicario. And remember, he is often asked questions at corner kicks.
He's out of his penalty area quickly over to the right-hand side, and we'll just wait for the ball to bounce inside that box and gather the ball. Well, that's what he felt had happened. Referee Rob Jones has blown his whistle. He's just telling Vicario not to retake and release that ball. The assistant on this near side has come over. Have we got an issue with the ball here, perhaps?
Is there something amiss with the assistant? Possibly his, technical stuff's not working just now, so he's not hearing the referee, or the referee's not hearing him. That may be the problem.
Yeah, that looks like what it is, Pat. The assistant on this near side has come over. So a little break in play here. Rob Jones just has the ball, the referee under his arm, so a chance for the Tottenham players, Kulusevski and Son and Maddison, to come over and get some instructions from the coaching staff.
Because just the way he's looking just now, he's so desolate. I'm wondering if he's okay, the assistant. Yeah,
it looks like his communications have gone down. Yeah. So, and Postecoglou is asking exactly that question. Gives him a little pass on the back. So let's head for an update from the Old Firm derby. Gavin Wallace.
Oh, Vicky, you've just came to me at the right time. Kyogo was one-on-one with Jack Butland. All he had to do was dink it over, and he just put too much air into it, and it just went over. It was a great chance. Celtic, though, really on top after that goal from Maeda and Kyogo in the first half. Celtic 2, Rangers 0.
And to Chelsea against Crystal Palace, Sahel Sahi.
Still goalless here at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace have come into the game in the last few minutes. They broke away on the right-hand side. The ball fell to Adam Wharton just outside the penalty area. He drilled it left-footed, testing Robert Sanchez low down to the goalkeeper's right-hand side. Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thanks very much, Sahel, and commentary continues over on the BBC Sport website. They're still struggling to get the communications sorted here, so Newcastle's players have brought the ball into the centre circle, and Nick Pope's come up as well, and they're just passing the ball around between them. As we say, it is a slightly chilly September afternoon here in Newcastle.
I'm very confused before we go further. Is it communications? It's just the way he was walking, the assistant referee, and now he's put a top on, which is unusual, unless it's cold, which she shouldn't be because he's running about quite a bit there up and down the line. Very unusual situation. Just go back to Chelsea for a moment there. For all the madness, and Chelsea are always interesting, aren't they? But you look at that group now and that team now, that's actually beginning to look a wee bit grown up. And you just never know. I think they might be among the most interesting teams to watch this season. Not saying they're definitely going to get a top 4, but with the likes of João Pedro coming in, looking a bit special just now.
Well, we're still waiting to see exactly what's going on here with the linesman, whether it is a communication issue or whether it is a slight injury. So Newcastle's players have got a couple of balls on the pitch, and they're knocking the ball around. Tottenham's players are doing the same as well. Players trying to keep warm here, certainly leaving them on the pitch rather than taking them off at the moment. A few jeers and whistles around. I don't think the crowd are any the wiser in terms of exactly what's going on here, but clearly there is an issue that the officials are trying to sort out before we can.
It honestly feels to me he must have. I mean, it's really, really strange because the referee's pointing to his technical equipment, and then he's also doing the movement for change, substitution. So I think there might be a wee bit of injury. And just watching the body language of the assistant referee when he walked up there, to be fair, he didn't look comfortable. And indeed, that is the case. He's been replaced.
Yes, so he has been replaced by the fourth official, Darren Bond. So, change in the officiating here. And clearly an issue for the assistants.
About Commander line to the family listening. He is still out there, the original assistant referee. He's not ill in any way by the looks of things. It must be a little injury, I guess.
Yes, it is that intensity of having to run the line, isn't it, that you need to make sure that you're moving freely. So, after all that, it's a drop ball for Tottenham inside their own penalty area. It's still goalless, approaching the midway point of the first half, but we will now have a significant amount of added time at the end of this first half. 0-0 as Tottenham work it out to the left-hand side. Basuma challenged by Longstaff. The ball goes out of play, and it will be a throw to Tottenham midway through the Newcastle half. Newcastle have already hit the woodwork through Alexander Isak so far this afternoon. Tottenham with a goal ruled out at the other end, rightly so, offside against Romero, as Vicario plays it out to the left-hand side, and Son Heung-min. Krafth wins the header. Longstaff will win the second ball, and Krafth will play it forward to Livramento and steers it back under pressure to Longstaff. He plays it out for a Newcastle throw off Udogie. Big chance at Chelsea. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, still 0-0 here, Vicky, but a huge chance for Chelsea. It was a ball from the right-hand side. Mark Gahey, the Crystal Palace captain, was caught unaware. Madueke slipped in behind him. Into the penalty area he goes, into the 6-yard box, and just lashed his effort wide. It really should be Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0, but it's still goalless between Chelsea and Crystal Palace.
Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website as Basuma clears away out of play. Throw to Newcastle midway through the Tottenham half. Livramento takes it. Gordon will scoop it to Joelinton. Plays it back to Gordon. All very central and congested, but Newcastle are playing around those blue-grey shirts well. So they work it out to the right-hand side, and Livramento plays it back to Joelinton, now approaching the penalty area with those pink boots. Brazilian, though, is dispossessed, and Son Heung-min will play it to the edge of the box, and Pape Matar out to the left-hand side, and Son Heung-min in field to Udogie. This is nicely worked now by Tottenham as Maddison works it out to Audebert, who has a bit of space down the right wing to run at Lloyd Kelly. Audebert, a couple of step-overs, drives from the edge of the area, flashes past the angle of Nick Pope's post and bar, 0-0.
Yeah, Audebert, last week against Everton, he was playing on the left-hand side. Looks a little bit more comfortable on the left-hand side. He can go inside onto his right foot and have a little bit of a shot. Seems not quite as comfortable over there on that right-hand side, but we shall see. He was just a little bit slow to take on his defender there. Got the shot away, but not on target.
So still goalless here, goalless at Stamford Bridge as well, between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Manchester United against Liverpool coming up with John Murray and Dion Dublin from 4 o'clock on 5 Live, as Newcastle have the ball just outside their own penalty area, playing from left to right in this first half at St James's Park. Ball forward to Isak, powerfully thumped away by the head of Dragoshin, in for the injured Mickey van de Ven for this game, as Maddison picks it up, central position, plays the ball into the area looking for the run of Son, headed away by Livramento. Guimaraes will bring it down. Longstaff plays it forward, but it's inaccurate and won't be picked up by Isak. You can hear the groans rumble around St James's Park. Livramento slips and Romero plays it forward. Poor ball though from the Argentinian. It's all the way through with Nick Pope. Pat Nevin.
One of the most difficult things in a game that's so tight like this, and players are playing at high pace, there's very little space in the midfield, and you get real difficulty getting certain types of players into the game, such as Bruno Guimaraes and Maddison, and neither of those players have had much impact yet. However, they will when the space opens up.
Tottenham in possession, just inside the Newcastle half. Good work by Kulusevski, gets it back from Son. Oliver's arriving, Kulusevski's ball in his paw, gets it back off Krafth though. Son now, edge of the box, pull back to Pape Matar. Fierce shot, beaten away by Pope. Might spin out for a corner. Indeed it does, just the left-hand side of that corner flag. That was a fierce effort from Sarr.
It was, he must have been looking at his mate Basuma scoring a cracker last week. Tried the same.
Taking the corner short, Tottenham. It's played in, cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box, collected once more by Audebert, and Newcastle once more sitting deep. Here is Romero, squares it to Basuma, and now Udogie. As Tottenham force Newcastle back towards their own penalty area. Son Heung-min now up against Emil Krafth. Son Heung-min whips it in, it's just flipped away by Lloyd Kelly and collected over on that far side. In fact, Pora will allow it to run for a throw. Goal at Chelsea, Sahel Sahi.
Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0. Nicholas Jackson with the goal. It was quite a wonderful counter-attack move from their edge of their own penalty area. They swept forward Chelsea in numbers. It was Madueke to Palmer, Palmer then to Jackson, and he poked it home 2 yards away. Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Thanks very much, Sahel. Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website as Kulusevski has it just outside the penalty area. Shot is blocked away again by Krafth. That's been the pattern of play for Kulusevski over the last couple of minutes. But Tottenham in the ascendancy at the moment. It was such a bright start to this game from Newcastle. They hit the bar early on through Isak, but at the moment it's Ange Postecoglou's side in control. Up to the right-hand side they go, and Son now pulled back to James Maddison. Audebert on the move. Maddison is tripped by Guimaraes, and it will be a free kick to Tottenham, a third of the way inside the Newcastle half.
Yeah, Maddison tripped there. He's trying everything to find space. He's been at left back, he's been at right midfield, he's being in the 10 position where he wants to be most of the time. He cannot find an inch of space yet.
Well, he is a player that Newcastle have tried to sign in the past, but Postecoglou saying he's seeing signs early in the season that Maddison wants to take his game to the next level. Here's Odebear outside the area again. Newcastle blocked the ball away. Recycled on the right-hand side, collected now by Son Heung-min, left-hand side of the penalty area. Down to the byline, pulls it back to the edge of the box once more. Kulusevski lays it off to Sarr, goes for the curler this time, and again Pope beats away. And again, it's another Tottenham corner.
Seemed a bit unnecessary, that. I mean, that looked like a shot you could just lean down and pick up, you know, but he's pushed it to the side. He's taken no chances whatsoever. There was no power on it at all, so almost a free kick, a free corner kick to Tottenham Hotspur. And when that happens, sometimes that can lead to bad news for the keeper.
Yeah, I just wonder whether he's got that previous effort that came in a couple of moments ago, which was much fiercer, still in his mind, and he's just beaten it away with pretty much the same movement. But as you say, Pat, slightly needless to concede the corner. Tottenham take it from the right-hand side, licked away by Newcastle, but collected by Son Heung-min, still just inside the penalty area, pulls it back to Ibasuma. Now back out to Son as Tottenham are forced out of the box. Left-hand side, nice little bit of play by Son, past Kelly, who then pulled him back, and that's going to be a yellow card for Lloyd Kelly as well. Well, a little bit needless there because he had flicked it past Kelly, but I think Newcastle might have covered that ball.
Well, you say flicked it past, it was a nutmeg, and that may have annoyed him just a little bit. And there's no doubt it was completely and utterly deliberate from Son there. But he's beaten him absolutely hands down. Easy past him, and he's dragged him back a little bit. And if you're playing against a full-back and he's suddenly on a yellow card and you're only 27 minutes into the game, it gives you a real help.
Yep, early booking. Well, not so early now, 28 minutes gone, but still not one that Lloyd Kelly's going to want to have for over an hour to play still in this game. It's goalless, Tottenham on top at the moment, as Maddison stands over this on the left-hand side. Delivery is swung in, cleared away by Livramento, just in front of that near post, comes back out to Odebear, who will lay it off, central position to Porro, who drives, not a bad effort, but a yard or so over the bar, never troubling Nick Pope, 0-0.
Do you know what's very noticeable about Spurs? You've got what goals see a lot of games in the Premier League just now. There's chances to shoot from 25, 26, 27 yards. Generally, players don't take that chance. They pass it, they move it, they pass it, particularly, say, a Manchester City, etc. Because the stats say not many goals are scored from outside the box. Nobody's told that to Ange Postecoglou's team today, have they? They're having pings from everywhere.
And it's an interesting one, Pat, because coming into this weekend, Tottenham have had more touches in the opposition box than any other Premier League side this season. But you're right, at the moment, every time they get a side a goal from 20 yards, as Gordon runs down the other end and Vicario comes out well and claims, they're very happy to. And it's not even when they get a side of goal, it's when they have the ball in and around the penalty area. The pullback is always looking for the edge of the D, whichever player might be there, whether it's Sarr or Bissouma. Interesting strategy from Tottenham. They've gone close a couple of times.
Yes, I think it's an Ange thing. You know, keep on putting them on target. Some will spill off the goalkeeper. There's a slick surface out there because it's been drizzling for a little while as well. But of course, you always have to remember deflections. If you get any deflection of goal at all, keepers can do nothing about it.
Out to the right-hand side goes Tottenham and Porro. It's goalless here on 5 Live. Manchester United against Liverpool, our commentary coming up from 4 o'clock as Newcastle rob possession on the halfway line, and Isak is bombing down this left-hand side, approaching the penalty area. A couple of touches, did well to hold on to it and wins the corner.
He is phenomenal when he gets the ball at his feet, Isak. He runs at players, and if they're caught up with him, you think, well, you've lost it now. But he has got this amazing ability to take little bumps off of the opposition players, but still seemingly have it under control. Always seems to get something out of the end of it. This time, a corner.
So corner to Newcastle. Anthony Gordon over to that far side as the players line up again on the edge of that 6-yard box. Blue-grey shirts of Tottenham, the black and white of Newcastle. As Gordon on the far side prepares to swing this in. They've got 2 players in Kraft and Longstaff on the edge of the penalty area. Will he go for the 6-yard box again? Yes, he will. Good punch by Vicario. Now falls to Longstaff, just inside the box now, trying to cushion it back in. It's intercepted by Tottenham, and Udogie will bring it forward, and Tottenham can break here. Kulusevski gets his head up, sees the run of Odebear. Kulusevski will run it down the left-hand channel for now. Pursued by Kelly, who's on a yellow card. Kulusevski approaching the byline, just checks outside the penalty area, now does play the ball in, and from 1 into the other Tottenham corner.
Kind of sums this game up a wee bit. You think someone's controlling it, and there is a lightning break that 3 seconds later you're in the opposition half. The problem for Kulusevski there was only one player that could stay with him in a light blue shirt. That was Odebert. He's not the tallest, he didn't want to fly it in there. But a very open game, and a game that probably deserves a goal.
Well, it's a game that has never failed to give us a goal in the Premier League. 59th time these sides have met in this competition. Can Tottenham find one here? Maddison plays it low to Son, edge of the area again. Porro's effort blocked away on the edge of the 6-yard box. The follow-up blocked once more by Longstaff. Porro tussling with Longstaff and does well to stop the Newcastle counter. Romero picks it up, then plays it off Sean Longstaff, who's looking at referee Rob Jones and saying, well, hang on, was I not blocked off there? But the decision is Tottenham throw, and again, that's it. That was a training ground move. Maddison to Son, edge of the area. Porro this time launches it, cleared away by Newcastle.
You know, I'll try and get some stats at half-time, but their number of shots from outside the box, this is not a fluke. This is something that's worked on by Ange Postecoglou. Really neat the way they worked that corner kick there. There was a cracker of a set-piece corner kick, free kick yesterday, which led to a brilliant goal, but it was well thought out.
So Newcastle throw, third of the way inside their own half. They started so brightly, they hit the woodwork through Alexander Isak, but as the half wears on, Tottenham very much on top, and they're putting on the pressure outside the Newcastle penalty area. Livramento has it deep in his own territory. Udogie has stepped right back up from left back to pressure him. Newcastle still have it. Kraft trying to alleviate that pressure. Gordon gets a touch. Dragashin steps up inside the Newcastle half and wins that header, the Romania centre half. Longstaff trying to keep it in, won't do so. Tottenham throw, and Dragashin's applauding. What have you made of him? He's in for the injured Mickey van der Ven, Tottenham's player of the year last season. Big blow before this game.
And he's been handheld by Dan Burn, so he's not doing anything incredibly complicated. He's just making sure he looks along the line and he does the sensible thing. So well coached at the moment.
Here come Newcastle, play the ball forwards, but it's intercepted by Romero. Now James Maddison will play it forwards. Lloyd Kelly, won the challenge ahead of Pape Matar. Sarr is going into the book for that free kick to Newcastle, just inside the centre circle.
It's one of those ones that's slightly ugly the way it happened. My first thought was he actually didn't catch him, but the referee's a lot closer than we are just now. I think he's a wee bit unlucky there. He's tried to go for the ball, mistimed it slightly, and because he's mistimed it, he's just missed the ball. Classic one, in slow motion, looks bad, wasn't deliberate.
Yeah, not deliberate. There is contact just above the ankle. It's glancing. As Kat says, slow motion always makes it look worse. VAR always do have a little check, but Roy Kelly is getting up to his feet. Let's head back to the old firm, Gavin Wallace.
And it's another goal for Celtic, Vicky. It's Celtic 3, Rangers 0. Callum McGregor, the captain. It was really poor defending from Rangers. He's out on that far right-hand side. He cuts inside onto his right foot, but 23 yards for goal, and unleashed a rocket. Celtic 3, Rangers 0.
Thanks very much, Gavin. So all going very well for Ange Postecoglou's former side. They have Tottenham drawn Rangers in the Europa League this season. So he's sure he'll get a warm reception at Ibrox. They'll very much be looking forward to seeing him.
I think everyone in Scotland was very, very keen when that came out to talk about that. But just watching, I've actually got a little screen here. To be honest, it's that is a brilliant finish. Nothing a keeper can do about that. Butland, however, he should have done better to the original shot from outside the box by Kyogo.
Why does it not surprise me that you're the consummate multitasker?
Actually, there's a little deflection on it, so he's done well.
James Maddison plays the ball back to Vicario. Newcastle's turn to put on a little bit of pressure out to the left-hand side, and Livramento will pick it up right-hand side. He's barged over by Udogie there. Says St James's Park referee Rob Jones agrees. And it's a free kick to Newcastle, deep in Tottenham territory. Let's head to the cricket. Eleanor Oldroyd.
Glorious afternoon at Lords, and 147 for 4 Sri Lanka, so they still need another 336 runs to win. England needing 6 more wickets. Couple of shots from Dinesh Chandimal in the last Chris Woakes over. Could easily have flown to fielders, but they didn't. They went for 4 instead. He's on 24, Matthews 36. Sri Lanka 147 for 4.
Thanks, Ellie. Commentary continues over on Sports Extra. A bit needless there from Udogie as Anthony Gordon stands over this for Newcastle United. It's still goalless, 5 minutes to go until the break. It's a good delivery, well flicked away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Yves Bissouma. Really important header because Harvey Barnes was right behind him. It looked as though he was getting to that. He didn't because of Bissouma's intervention as the ball goes out of play for a Newcastle throw over on the far side. They take it quickly. Here's Lloyd Kelly bursting into the penalty area. Brilliant finish! Super goal from Harvey Barnes. Edge of the 6-yard box on the volley. That is outstanding. What a way to give Newcastle the lead against Tottenham.
Yeah, they were looking really dangerous, both wings. Earlier on I said to you, Harvey Barnes for me, although highly rated, is one of the most underrated players in the game. That finish is astonishing because it's at an angle coming back to him, an incredible pace. Most players want to take a touch there, or if they try and redirect it into the goal, it goes anywhere, over the bar, you name it. He has just nailed it into the far corner. That is a magnificent goal. Knew it wouldn't be 0-0.
Yes, true to form, true to history, this game has given us a goal. It's a super finish. The ball bounces just before he hits it, but he catches it on the half volley and celebrates with the archery celebration as well. And Pat, just talk us through the way that he guides that ball in, because it is a finish of the highest quality.
Well, it's been zipped from wide and it's bounced, so it's skidded off the surface, but it's skidded high. It's up about 1.5 feet, and he still managed to guide it with the outside the side of his right foot. Brilliantly done. Technique is world class.
Outstanding goal from Harvey Barnes. Scored 5 for Newcastle last season. This is his first of this campaign, and it gives them the lead with 7 minutes plus added time to play before the break against Tottenham, who are looking for the immediate response. Here's Odebear over on the far side. Joe Linton with the block. And Tottenham with the throw.
Yeah, as I said, I think this game deserved a goal. Actually, either team were deserving of it as well. It was a very, very even game. But I suspect, even though it's been quite open, that'll probably open up even more. By the way, this place is rocking, isn't it? They love it.
Newcastle win the throw deep in their own territory. Well, St James's Park has not been a happy hunting ground for Tottenham in recent years. Heavy defeats on their last 2 visits here. 4-0 last season, 6-1 the season before that. And Ange Postecoglou talking ahead of this game on that 4-0 last season, saying, we lost probably for the first time under me our composure in a game. So how composed can Tottenham stay after conceding the first goal here as Vicario plays it out to Yves Bissouma. Dragoshin will play it forward now to Pape Matar Sarr. He steers it back to Vicario, but Newcastle have got a second win here after that super finish from Harvey Barnes. Vicario lifts it forward, cleared away by Joe Linton. He's back there defending. Little chest from Yves Bissouma, bounces off the head of Sean Longstaff, and Bissouma will pick it up over the halfway line, out to the left-hand side, and Son now in field to Maddison. It's fouled by his counterpart, number 10, Anthony Gordon. Maddison.
Clever though, isn't it? Every time he gets it. It doesn't matter who's the nearest Newcastle player, they sprint to Maddison, give him no space at all, and it's killing a lot of the, what they would have as a creativity, because Maddison's been pushed further and further back.
Here is Son Heung-min out on the left hand side, plays it back into Yves Bissouma, and now Dragoshin just inside the Newcastle half. Newcastle leading by 1-0 here on 5 Live. 5 minutes plus added time to play until the break as Udogie plays it out to Son, left hand side, trying to flick it through the legs of Livramento, who stands up well, and Udogie plays it back to Bissouma. Tottenham still in possession midway through the Newcastle half, and now Sarr back to Bissouma, lovely ball to Maddison, left hand side of the area, whips the ball across, Burns there, edge of the 6-yard box, clears away for the Tottenham throw.
Again, finding little bits of space there, tiny wee bits of space, but very, very little there. Maddison gets a half decent cross in, but not good enough to get by that Newcastle defence.
Here he is once more, Maddison. Harvey Barnes intercepting that ball to the edge of the area. Bissouma will pick it up. Interesting there though, Barnes, knowing that they've done that so often in this game, Tottenham read it well, couldn't quite counter, and Udogie coming forward now. Is he brought down by Longstaff? Yes, he was. Is this going to be a free kick or a yellow card as well? The answer is the latter. I think positionally there, the fact that Udogie had the momentum going towards the penalty area has seen Longstaff go into the book.
Struck me as a little bit harsh, that, and maybe particularly because Udogie does the old dive after it. It's a ridiculous dive that he does afterwards. But yeah, he's got away there. I think it's a free kick. It's nothing much more than that.
This is peak James Maddison territory.
Yeah. Maybe just a bit far out to actually score from there, unless he puts it, you know, in a line with the back post. We are in a great angle for this. We are right behind it.
I'm just having a look at that top corner, Pat. You're right, it is to the left. It's level with the left-hand side of the penalty area, so he probably will go for the ball in.
Curl it towards that back post.
Yeah.
Hoping that it drops in if someone doesn't hit it.
So it will be Maddison. He plays it on the ground. They try something different. Kulusevski trying to take it in his stride. Newcastle head it to the edge of the box, and then Porro volleys over. Whistle's gone anyway for a free kick. Foul in the penalty area. So free kick to Newcastle, who lead by 1-0. Let's get an update from the Italian Grand Prix. Harry Benjamin.
It's lap 7 of 53, and it was Lando Norris on pole position after initial good getaway. He has now lost the lead, and it's down to third. It's his teammate Oscar Piastri who leads this race, and Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. To the roar of the home fans, the Tifosi has put himself up into second, but still a long way to go in this race. Verstappen up to 6th place, having started down in 7th.
Thanks, Harry. Commentary continues online on the BBC Sport website as Nick Pope prepares to take this free kick. Failed to save any penalties in the penalty shootout midweek in the League Cup against Nottingham Forest. 2 were missed. And this fascinated me because he said, and I always wonder this about goalkeepers, he said, I'm counting those as saves. Yep. I might not have saved them, but I still miss them. I'm on his side, actually. Little goalkeepers union here. But you know, you put the player off, you've done your job, you've done something on the goal line, and it's worked, so why not?
100% agree. Any player who takes a penalty kick has got the goalkeeper to some degree in his mind.
Newcastle with the ball just inside the Tottenham half. They lead by 1-0. Harvey Barnes with a stunner. First time effort, super control. Gives them that advantage as Anthony Gordon won't reach that ball, and Romero will shepherd out for a Tottenham goal kick. Pat Niven.
I think Eddie Howe will be a wee bit disappointed with that. That was a good position there, Livramento. It's an easy pass to Gordon, but if you put it in front of him, even Gordon just looked at the man who was coming across, and it was that man Romero, and thought, nah, I'll not bother with that one because you're not going to get it, you're not going to win it. And but he's chasing down now, and it's, I mean, a real lift for Eddie Howe's team to get that goal when they did there. There's a real confidence through their team now.
Oh, Romero almost getting into trouble there. Cleared the ball away. Isak charged down well. Maddison's now lost it. Longstaff slipped though as he won it. Joelinton has it. Isak can't trap it on the edge of the area. Well, about 5 players have failed to retain possession there in the space of about 7 seconds. Could have been another Newcastle goal. Could now be a Tottenham counter. Kulusevski out to the right-hand side, and Audebert on the halfway line. Plays the ball back to just outside the centre circle, and now James Maddison has it on halfway. Out to the left, and Son Heung-min. Newcastle leading by 1-0. Applause for Sandro Tonali warming up away to our left-hand side as picked up by Yves Bissouma. Edge of the D, might go for goal, but he's crowded out by black and white shirts. Out to the right-hand side he goes instead, and now Sarr. Maddison once more, 25 yards out, central position, finds Son Heung-min, breaking into the penalty area, a couple of step overs, tried to trick his way through, but couldn't get past Gordon, and it's cleared away by Emil Krafth.
Yeah, Son just peripheral to the game, Son, but you just wonder if he could get a little bit more of the ball to him. He had one really good moment, and he ended up getting fouled with it, but so far, still peripheral.
And I was going to ask, would he put him central? He's just drifting into that position now coming back out to the left-hand side as Bissouma sends it back to Dragoshin.
Must be a temptation at some point. I mean, you know what Ange Postecoglou's like. If it's getting near the end of the game, well, that was agricultural by our man Joe Linton over there, who is... Yeah, he does that now and again, doesn't he? He clotheslined the player last week, which could have been red. It was only a yellow.
He very much got away with that against Neto, stopping the Bournemouth goalkeeper, bowling the ball out quickly. Audebert's all right though when we play on. No further punishment for Joelinton as it's picked up by Udogie. Tottenham still trail here at St James's Park as we enter 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Chelsea still leading Crystal Palace by 1-0. That also a 1:30 kickoff. Manchester United against Liverpool coming up at 4 o'clock, and Celtic 3-0 up against Rangers in the Old Firm derby. A Sarr's delivery. Maddison will win the header on the edge of the 6-yard box, can't control it. Newcastle clear it eventually with Byrne, but don't really get a huge amount of distance on it. Dragoshin's completely missed that though, trying to trap midway through the Newcastle half. Isak wins the header. Gordon and Guimaraes between them can't hold on to it, and Dragoshin is there now pinned there by Joelinton. Then that's going to be a yellow because he's just done one over the far side that he's got away with, but I think that is accumulation of fouls there, and he's into the book.
I completely agree with you, and it wasn't just that one, there was one before that as well. And you know, he's a wholehearted player, he's a physical player as well, but a little bit unnecessary there. And he's another one who managed to tread slightly lightly between now and the end of the game, because that is a big part of his game.
Yep, 3 Newcastle players on yellow cards: Joe Linton, Kelly and Longstaff. Sarr in the book for Tottenham. Tottenham, who are looking to find this equaliser on the stroke of half-time. Unbeaten start, just 2 games gone. An unbeaten start so far to this Premier League season. Porro stands over this. Free kick just to the right, midway through the Newcastle half. Swung in, Dragoshin was in there, won't reach it. Son collects it as it spins outside the penalty area. Fans saying it's gone out, referee disagrees. Son will play it to Maddison, left-hand side of the box. Maddison will play it off Anthony Gordon, and it will be a throw to Tottenham. And Maddison's playing, come on, let's play a little bit more quickly. And Dragoshin listens to him, takes the throw, but then sees it fired off his own shins by Anthony Gordon, and Newcastle United have a throw deep in their own territory. Pat Niven.
Yeah, once again, so I'm trying to get the ball under control there. Maddison trying to do exactly the same, but it's a wall of black and white shots. Every time they get it, they're very, very composed when they lose the ball. Newcastle, they get back, they work hard, they get into a shape, and even players you expect not to maybe enjoy that as much, you know, particularly if you're on Guimaraes, they're all doing it as well. It's a really hard working group unit at the moment.
Joe Linton trying to wriggle his way through on the halfway line. Romero covers, sends it back to Vicario, closed down quickly by Isak. So Vicario lifts it out to the right hand side, and Odebear is up against Kelly. Kelly does well and plays it back to Nick Pope. Pat Niven.
You just wonder about Odebear, you know, over that right hand side. He's getting no change whatsoever out of the fullback there. So, you know, well done Lloyd Kelly for doing that, because Odebear has got some quality. 2 things you can do now if you're in Postecoglou: switch him, get him to the left where he does look a little bit more comfortable, and I think he'll be a wee bit more dangerous, or else you look to the bench, and of course Brennan Johnson would be sitting in there as a possible obvious replacement.
Well, he's standing on the edge of his technical area, and Postecoglou in his big black jacket, his hands in his pockets. As Newcastle come forward once more, looking to add to this 1-goal advantage before half-time. Isak, good ball to find Livramento, who had made the run forward. Livramento plays it into the area, and Vicario comes and claims that really well. Isak's gone down, little collision with the goalkeeper there, but Vicario clearly got to the ball first. St James's Park is telling Vicario to bowl the ball out, but Isak's already back up to his feet, and Tottenham will continue to play on as we have just over 60 seconds of added time left to play. A little bit of space for Son on this left-hand side. Quickly doubled up on, but plays it down to Maddison, who really has been everywhere in this first half. Went down under the challenge of Byrne. And referee Rob Jones says nothing doing there.
You wonder if he's maybe just trodden on the back of his heel undeliberately there. Because, yeah, that looks like it. He's holding the back of his heel. They will check that. It's outside the penalty box. There's no way that's going to be a penalty kick or anything like that. Yeah, he's trodden on his foot, no more than that.
Well, he's getting short shrift and, shall we say, not too much sympathy from the Newcastle fans. He went down just behind the goal there. Well, it should have been a free kick. He's right. He's making that point to Rob Jones, but a goal kick's been given, and as Pat says, outside the penalty area.
I think he made a mistake, Maddison, because he's got the ball, he's got his back to goal, and then he runs the ball out the back when Dan Burns running towards him. That's the last thing you do there. You stop, you stay in the box, and if there's going to be a free kick, then they'll have to look at the VAR, and then you get a chance to penalty kick. So an unusual mistake there with Maddison.
So Newcastle goal kick is the upshot, and Nick Pope launches it over the halfway line, and there is the half-time whistle. It's been a good contest. It's ebbed and flowed. Newcastle started very brightly indeed, hit the woodwork through Isak, then Tottenham overall for the majority of the half are having the better of it without seriously testing Nick Pope on too many occasions. But Pat, highlight moment of the game so far. What a finish from Harvey Barnes to give Newcastle the lead 10 minutes from the
Absolutely brilliant. There have been good parts of quality, but you know there are so many quality players on here. There's someone who's going to produce at some point. Harvey Barnes is the one, and I'm delighted with that because he is really a top player, and again, as I say, quite underrated, even though we'll think he's great. However, there are plenty of other players that can do just the same in the second half for both sides.
So Tottenham's unbeaten start to this season under threat. Half time at St James's Park. Newcastle 1, Tottenham 0.
Thank you both. It's also half-time at Stamford Bridge. Remember, you can listen to this game via the BBC Sport website. Chelsea Crystal Palace, Sahel Sahi.
Chelsea lead at the break, Steve, by a goal to nil. They've been enjoyable to watch in this first 45 minutes. Nicholas Jackson with the strike after a slick flowing counter-attack started by Madueke. Palmer got involved and the finish was provided by Nicholas Jackson for his second Premier League goal of the season. Madueke with two earlier chances, one he slashed wide, the other 6 yards away. He forced Dean Henderson, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, into an outstanding one-handed save which he tipped onto the crossbar and over for a corner kick. Crystal Palace, they've been slow and ponderous. They need to pull their socks up if they're to salvage anything from this game. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Is there any sign of another England breakthrough at Lord's, Ellie Oldroyd?
Not since lunch, no. 166 for 4 here with Chandimal on 43, Angelo Matthews on 36, and the second 50 partnership of the innings from Sri Lanka, who, Stephen Finn, are putting up some good resistance.
Yes, yes, they have played very well actually today. It's the fight that we wanted to see in the first innings. Really, it would have meant that they were fighting to stay in the game and get ahead of the game in that first innings and not trying to save it in this second one. They're still 317 runs behind, but Matthews and Chandimal, both very experienced cricketers, are resisting England at the moment. England have just got to be patient. When they get that breakthrough, then that's when they will try and pile through the door.
Sorry about that. I failed to switch your microphone on and you were agreeing with me as well.
How many times did I do that to you last summer though, Ellie?
Oh, maybe only once or twice. 166 for 4, Steve, on this lovely afternoon at Lord's, and another one evades the slip cordon. So that will be more runs for Sri Lanka, who are putting in a decent fight here. 47 for Chandimal, 170 for 4.
Thank you very much both, and you can listen to commentary of that via the TMS team on 5 Sports Extra. Full-time whistle at Celtic Park in the Old Firm derby. Gavin Wallace.
It has just went indeed. Celtic 3, Rangers 0, and the champions really showing their class this afternoon. Dyson made it and Kyogo got the net in the first half, but the standout goal, Steve, came on 75 minutes as captain Callum McGregor cut inside from the left-hand side. It was really poor Rangers defending. They didn't get rid of the ball whatsoever, and he let rip a rocket with his left foot right into the right-hand side of Jack Butland's goal. Bad news for Rangers as they now trail Celtic and Aberdeen by 5 points. Celtic 3, Rangers 0.
Great afternoon of live sport for you on 5 Live. Right now on the BBC Sport website, it's the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. Harry Benjamin is watching.
53, Lando Norris started this race on pole, fell down to third, has just come in for his first pit stop and has peeled out an 8th spot. It's Oscar Piastri, his teammate, who leads though, building a nice gap to Charles Leclerc of nearly 4 seconds. Still a long way to go in this one, 53 laps total.
We've had some brilliant amateur golf performances over the course of the last couple of weeks, and the Curtis Cup is building to a thrilling climax.
It really is, and it could go all the way to the wire. Great Britain and Ireland lead 9 points to 8. There are 3 matches left on the course from them. Great Britain and Ireland have to eke out 1.5 points for victory. They're up in 2 of the matches. Mimi Rhodes 1 up after 16 against Melanie Green, and Lorna McClymont 2 up in her match after 15 holes against Megan Schofield. The final match is being dominated by Rachel Keane of the Americans against Anya Donegan. This is going to the wire.
A seamless half-time so far. Ellie forgot to turn Stephen Finn's microphone on, and I didn't even say the name of the golf correspondent. Thank you, Ian Carter. Other than that, we're absolutely flying. We'll be back for second half commentary shortly of Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace is available online, and we will start the build-up to Manchester United versus Liverpool. Full commentary from here inside Old Trafford at 4 o'clock. We'll do it all after the news on 5 Live with Fraser Denton.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good afternoon. Hamas and Israel are accusing one another of being responsible for the deaths of 6 Israeli hostages in Gaza. The Israeli army says they were killed as its soldiers neared their location. Hamas says they were hit by Israeli airstrikes. Meanwhile, Palestinians have been gathering at 3 health centres in central Gaza to have their children vaccinated against polio during localised pauses in fighting. UNICEF and other charities hope to reach more than 640,000 children and babies across the territory. Surrey Police has confirmed that a man and 3 children who were found dead at a property in Spelthorne yesterday were all related. An investigation has been launched into the deaths. Detectives believe it was an isolated incident. The force has said the children were all under the age of 4. And the Conservative leadership hopeful Robert Jenrick has said the new Conservative Party will be a trade union of the British people. During a speech in central London, Mr Jenrick said his priorities included helping young people to buy their own homes and making sure illegal immigrants were deported within hours or days of arriving. He's one of 6 leadership candidates.
On BBC iPlayer, Colin from Accounts is back with new owners.
Oh, come on, mate. He's our dog.
We made a mistake.
Please. Not anymore, he's not, mate. Wake up.
A brand new series of the hit comedy.
Maybe without him, we can just see what we have.
I want to see the move.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'm going to kiss you in 6 minutes. If you have anything that you want to do between now and then, be my guest and I'll meet you back here.
I don't know. Bit off, isn't it?
Colin from Accounts.
We're all good though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Starts Tuesday on BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live Sports.
5 Live Premier League Sunday.
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Well, we said the Curtis Cup was coming to a climax, and it has now climaxed, Ian Carter.
It has. Lorna McClimate just closing out victory against Megan Scoffel, which takes Great Britain and Ireland to 10 points. And ahead of that, Mimi Rhodes is 1 up with 1 to play, therefore a guaranteed half. And that means that Katrina Matthews' side will reach the magic number of 10.5 points and win this trophy for the first time since 2016.
Thank you very much, Ian. Elsewhere, loads of medals won for Paralympics GB so far today. This morning, 3 golds and a silver won in the rowing finals. More GB success at the velodrome as well. So James Ball with pilot Stefan Lloyd won gold in the men's B 1,000 metre time trial final. Neil Faki, who beat Ball to gold back at the Tokyo Games, finished with a silver medal. Shortly afterwards, in the women's B 3,000 metre individual pursuit, Neil's wife Laura Faki came away with the bronze. Sophie Unwin and pilot Jenny Hall won gold for Great Britain. There is one championship match today. Watford looking to join Sunderland as the only teams in the league so far with 4 wins from 4. They're at Sheffield United. Stephen Wyatt.
Yeah, it should be a good one this, Steve. 2 of the championship's unbeaten sides, a win and pair of subsequent draws for Sheffield United as they reacclimatise to life in the second tier. However, recovery from an EFL Cup exit at Barnsley in midweek is their motivation, and they give a full league debut to Palace loanee Jessurun Graksaki. Watford, as he said, one of those 2 perfect performers in the championship, and they are looking to rejoin Sunderland at the summit with 4 wins from 4. No side at this level has more points since March when Tom Cleverley took over, and he names an unchanged 11, so Yassir Larouchi faces his employers of last season.
Back to Lords and an England wicket, Ellie.
Yes, much needed breakthrough. Angelo Matthews is the man out. Played really well, real stickability, but Shoaib Bashir has just captured his wicket. Good catch by Chris Wokes, but he was out for 36. 174 for 5 now. Dinesh Chandimal has reached his 50 of 42 deliveries, but they are still 309 away. Sri Lanka and England are 5 wickets away.
And there's commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. Welcome for the first time today to Old Trafford. Manchester United versus Liverpool in the Premier League this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Looking pitch side, you can see some greats of the past from both clubs. Gary Pallister is just standing with his hands in his pockets, surrounded by sort of a big red barrier, which makes him look every bit as grand as he deserves to look. Peter Schmeichel's a bit to his left. Michael Owen is there as well. Massive game for you today on Premier League Sunday. Normally you would say that you can smell anticipation in the air, but actually I can smell disinfectant because all of the posh seats have just been cleaned. Hope they did a good job on yours, John Murray.
Yes, they did. We're here again, and it seemed to have former Manchester United and Liverpool players around every corner inside the ground. From when I walked in the door, the first person I saw was Jaap Stam, and he's now down on the touchline talking to Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's very much now part of the Manchester United present again, and that is all very apt, isn't it, when you've got a couple of great Dutchmen. We'll have a Dutchman in both dugouts today.
We even have a former Manchester United player sat right in the middle of us. Good afternoon, Dion Dublin.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Steve, I'm looking down at that touchline. You mentioned some players there. Jaap Stam and Gary Pallister as your two centre-halves. Peter Schmeichel behind. That's not a bad little triangle, is it? Eh?
I mean, it would do, wouldn't it? It would do.
Wow.
I've also noticed that John Murray's new glasses bear a little bit of a resemblance to yours, Dion. Maybe he's been taking a sort of a style...
Well, we've had conversations over the summer.
If you can't beat them.
They're working.
Manchester United showed last season they could beat Liverpool on the pitch, but not necessarily over the course of the season. This is Arne Slot's first go at it, Dion. Very interesting.
Yeah, it will be, Steve. I don't know what it is, but I've got a little sneaky feeling that United will put a performance in today, which is what the fans will want to see: energy, organisation, moving the ball quicker as well. That's what I want to see. Bit slow coming out from the back, United. I think they need to make that something that they need to steer clear of going forward. I believe that they could really hurt Liverpool today. That said, Liverpool will come here and go, right, listen, we've done it before, let's do it again.
Lovely start for Slot though at Liverpool, isn't it? Couple of 2-0 wins, Ipswich and Brentford. So coming to Old Trafford, clearly with the fixture that this is, this is stepping it up. With all due respect to Ipswich and Brentford from those matches, and from a Manchester United point of view, having conceded that late goal at Brighton last weekend, I notice Erik ten Hag says in the programme today, if there is a game to quickly focus everybody's minds, it is this one. And it does feel that even though here we are, we're only just into September, it is only the third Premier League match of the season, but it's carrying a lot.
Dion, you've played in big derbies, you've played for clubs who have absolutely massive derbies, not least Manchester United. Arne Slot said, I don't know if you saw this week, that he talked about having coached Feyenoord versus Ajax and said he understands the massive atmospheres, the massive games, and that once you've been there, you don't really need something like Manchester United, Liverpool to be explained. Is he right about that, or is there something unique that he will be struck by?
Yeah, there is something unique about this game. I just think it's the size of the football clubs. I think the size of their fan base and how far they spread, worldwide as well, which I think sort of sets it apart to most. However, a derby is a derby, having played in Cambridge United versus Peterborough and the Old Firm. And
that's the one I meant, Cambridge versus Peterborough.
There you go. But I've played all levels, Steve, and it does really need no explaining to the players when you're in the dressing room before the game. There's little pointers that the manager will give you, but you don't need motivation. You shouldn't need motivation playing against a team and players that you actually hate when you go over the white line, but you have to keep that composure to make sure that you perform at your best and don't get too carried away with the physical emotion of the game.
Do you know one thing that struck me today, coming to Old Trafford for the first time this season, is that as I drove into the ground, there's a advertising board, and who's the main figure on there? It's Kobbie Mainoo. Then came into the ground at the same time that Kobbie Mainoo was actually arriving, and as they say, the crowd went wild outside the ground. He's on the front of the programme today for this match of all matches, and when you turn to Erik ten Hag's notes, there's a picture there of the players walking out. Who's in the middle of that? Kobbie Mainoo. And I've just looked at the screen and he's been interviewed on Sky Television. That to me says where he is now. And if you remember, he scored his first goal in this match when it was a 2-2 draw in April, which did serious damage to Liverpool's hopes of winning the title. That was his first goal for Manchester United at Old Trafford. That's where he is, and it feels today, with all of that experience, he's been to the Euros, played the part that he did for England. He's on the edge of superstar status.
Yep, I think that's right. There certainly looks like they're building the team around him now. There have been a lot of outgoings from former Manchester United managers. Kobbie Mainoo right at the heart of it. Won't be partnered today by the new signing Ugarte, and it doesn't sound, from listening to Arne Slot, like we'll see Federico Chiesa either. But massive game obviously in prospect, it always is. We'll be back to St James's Park shortly. Have we had another wicket at Lords, Ellie?
It is being reviewed at the moment by Sri Lanka. Chandimal the batter, Chris Wokes the bowler, Stephen Finn sitting alongside me, whose microphone I have now turned on. Your thoughts were waiting for the review. Could take a little while, but first sight.
It could be a millimetre inside the line. So the question is going to be whether it's hit him inside the line of off stump or whether there's an inside edge on it, actually.
Tiny inside edge, potentially. Come back to us, we will tell you what the result of that is, but it could well be not out.
We will do. Thank you very much both. So Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0, half-time. Second half commentary available right now via the BBC Sport website. You can listen to the cricket on Test Match Special. You can listen to the end of the Grand Prix via the BBC Sport website. Here on 5 Live, Manchester United, Liverpool to come at 4. Before that, the second half, Newcastle 1, Tottenham 0. Pat Nevin and Vicky Sparks.
Thanks very much, Steve. Welcome back to St James's Park, where Tottenham have made a change at half-time, and Ange Postecoglou has reversed one of the 2 changes that he made for this game. Pape Matar Sarr is off, Brennan Johnson is on, and Pat Nevin, that just gives them the option to do something a little bit different in midfield.
Yes, which he loves to do, and Maddison wasn't getting on the ball enough, so maybe he'll drop in a little bit deeper, play alongside Bissouma, and just create from a little bit further back, give Johnson a chance to get up with... that'll make 4 attackers there, so it's going to be positive.
So Tottenham playing from left to right in possession early on in this second half in the changed blue-grey strip. Newcastle in their home kit of the black and white shirts, the black shorts and the black socks, and they're defending at the moment. Newcastle leading by a goal to 0 as Johnson, the substitute, to Son. Now Kulusevski gets the shot away. Byrne made the block. Maddison trying to latch onto it inside the 6-yard box. Really coolly done by Tino Livramento, racing away from Audebert as well. That is brilliant defending, because Newcastle were under real pressure there in the flag gone up against Isak. He does look a couple of yards offside, and Tottenham have a free kick. Back to Elliot the cricket.
Dinesh Chandimal survives, just a splinter of an inside edge showing up on ultra edge. 178 for 5 Sri Lanka. They are still 305 runs away though from victory.
Tottenham in the throw over on the far side. Will be to Stamford Bridge in a moment, but Audebert is racing down this left-hand side, cleared away by Kraft, and Longstaff will play it forward. We'll take you through the lineups in a moment, but Newcastle on the attack, and Isak this time I think has held his run, and Isak's in behind, and Barnes is racing to get involved. Isak into the penalty area. Sliding challenge by Dragishin, looked like a good one. Newcastle fans scream for a penalty. Isak now getting up and saying that there was contact. First viewing, and it's the other side of the pitch, but it did look like a good challenge. Rob Jones agrees, and Tottenham on the counter at the other end, but that ball into the boxes behind the run of Udogie, cleared away by Newcastle, but will be picked up once more by Tottenham. Played out to this right hand side. Here is Porro trying to feed Kulusevski, still has the ball inside the box. Now Porro gets it back from Kulusevski, whips the ball across. Oh, how they missed that. Son can't make contact from 3 yards out, and Newcastle United clear. What a start to the second half this is. Newcastle still lead by a goal to 0. Tottenham coming forward. Here is Bissouma, intercepted by Longstaff. Bissouma on the slide, can't win it back. Here's Harvey Barnes being pulled back by Bissouma, and that will be a yellow card for Yves Bissouma, and a free kick to Newcastle, and a chance to bring in Pat Nevin.
Phenomenal start to the second half. Classic Ange Postecoglou. Right, we're not going to wait. 45 minutes gone, it's not working. I'm going to make a bunch of changes. One personnel change, but system-wise, you've actually got Son through the middle now. Kulusevski beside him. Audebert, who wasn't looking good in the right, he's been moved to the left. You've got Brennan on the right, and saying to the team, go, attack, score a goal, create chances. Problem, of course, is on the break there could be danger, and they've almost been caught twice. Again, this looks like being a really good second half.
So Newcastle with the free kick just inside their own half. They lead by a goal to 0 thanks to Barnes' super finish on the half volley 10 minutes before the break in the first half, as Joelinton sends it back to Dan Byrne, pulls it all the way back to Nick Pope. Let's head to Stamford Bridge to Hale Sahi.
We played 6 minutes of the second half. Still Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0, but they've twice been denied by Dean Henderson, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. First from free kick, 25 yards away from Cole Palmer. He tipped it over for a corner, and then from the corner, Colwell with the header, 8 yards away. It bounced up, and Henderson did well scrambling to his right to turn it around for another corner. Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Commentary continues on the BBC Sports website from Stamford Bridge. Out to the left-hand side, go Tottenham, collected by Audebert, and now back with Udogie, and now Bissouma. Now Maddison, central position, just outside the penalty area. Porro plays it forward now to Johnson. They're zipping the ball around nicely, Tottenham, but it's a wall of black and white shirts in front of them. Newcastle leading by a goal to 0. Early stages of the second half here on 5 Live. Bissouma's lost it, too casual. Here goes Anthony Gordon racing over the halfway line. Isak trying to get involved in the counter. Gordon blocked off by Romero. Fairly so, says referee Rob Jones, pointing at the ball. Anthony Gordon still down complaining. St James's Park not impressed as Son picks it up, dropping back to the halfway line to get involved, playing in this central position. Son Heung-min in this second half as Romero advances forward, and Kulusevski will pick it up now, and Maddison. Option for Tottenham to work it out to the right-hand side. Here is Porro, can't find Son Heung-min. It's cleared away by Dan Burn, but real pressure at the moment from Tottenham.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bit old school as well. You're saying to Son, you're saying to Kulusevski, one of you plays 9, one of you plays 10, and just switch. Whenever you like, ask questions of a defence. Keep them guessing.
Here is Dragishin, forward to Basuma. Porro wins the throw off Joe Linton. It's relentless pressure at the moment from Tottenham as they look to get an equaliser early in this second half. Tottenham, who have struggled on the road in the Premier League going back to last season, they've won just 3 of their last 14 Premier League away games. And as we mentioned, their last 2 trips to St James's Park in the Premier League, they've ended up on the end of heavy defeats. It's just the 1-0 by which Newcastle lead as Tottenham come forward. The offside flag is up though against Udogie. And Newcastle have a free kick. Goal at Stamford Bridge. Sahel Sahi.
Crystal Palace have equalised. Chelsea won. Crystal Palace won. Chelsea could not clear the ball from their penalty box. It fell to Eberechi Eze, 25 yards away, and he took his right foot, put it right round the ball, whipped it past Robert Sanchez. A brilliant goal. Chelsea won. Crystal Palace won.
Thanks very much, Sahel. Commentary continues over on the BBC Sports website. So, Nick Pope preparing to take this free kick for Newcastle. Midway through the Newcastle half. Commentary of Manchester United against Liverpool coming up at 4 o'clock here on 5 Live. That is followed by 6:06 with Robbie and Chris as Newcastle concede the free kick just outside the Tottenham penalty area, and Joe Linton is growing frustrated, and he is expressing that frustration towards referee Rob Jones, but crucially at an appropriate distance.
Yeah, to be honest, it was a foul. Joe Linton was being kind of held himself, but it's a physicality thing there. He has to do that, but Joe Linton has to be slightly more careful.
Oliver loses possession, but he was fouled. Free kick Tottenham.
We watched yesterday how easy it can be to be sent off if you do just the wrong thing if you're Declan Rice.
Very much so. Remember Anthony Gordon falling foul of that for Newcastle last season against West Ham. Second yellow.
I think we were here together, weren't we, doing that one?
So Tottenham in possession. And Dragishin has it in the centre circle. They have Vicario in goal. The back four: Porro, Romero, Dragishin, in for the injured Van der Ven and Udogie, as they can't make the most of that down the left-hand side. Basuma then is sitting in front of that back four. Got Maddison and Kulusevski ahead of him, and Johnson and Audebert out wide, and then Son up front. But as Pat said, it is pretty fluid. Son, though, that is the key change, isn't it? He's gone central and everything is kind of working around.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can get Kulusevski, who prefers playing in a just off the striker role, but yeah, it's that ability for all those players such as Maddison to play just about anywhere. Kulusevski can move, certainly Son ability to move there and just find out where the space is and try and pick the ball up there. Problem they've got is there isn't much space for defence at Newcastle at the moment. They're really well organised.
Newcastle lose possession as they look to counter. They are looking dangerous on the counter when they come forward, Newcastle, but it's relentless Tottenham pressure at the moment when Tottenham get the ball at the other end, and ball is whipped in by Brennan Johnson. Took a little deflection. What a miss by Audebert. The deflection perhaps just put him off as he came in at the far post. He was completely lost by the Newcastle defence, and Wilson Audebert, the 19-year-old, has skied that ball over the bar at the far post.
Oh, that's an incredible miss. It might be slightly further outside the goal line than you think, but you've got to get it somewhere on target there. But I think it's one of those ones where as it's coming over he thinks, I'll knee that, but then it's been changed the direction. He thought, I might head it. And while he's thinking about that, the ball's coming. He's not been able to react quick enough. That's a great chance for Spurs. Maybe the best of the game so far.
Yeah, I think you're right, Pat, as Tottenham have it with Dragishin. It is that little deflection, isn't it? And suddenly he's got about 3 split-second decisions to make, and he hasn't quite been able to make the right one and reshape his body.
Yeah, we take it for granted the natural strikers do that without thinking about it, but the rest of us don't.
Oh, good ball by Kulusevski. Brilliant sliding interception from Dan Burn to stop Son having a one-on-one with Nick Pope, as Pope will now clear away on the edge of his 6-yard box. And Romero underneath that flicks it back to Vicario. But he's just so... We said it in the first half. You said it in the first half, Pat. He's so much more influential, Son. Now he's switched to the central position than he was out stuck on the left wing.
I think when he felt that Harry Kane left, he would maybe get a lot more time centrally.
Particularly no Solanke, no Richarlison. They are limited in terms of those central options at the moment. Here is Son, central position, just inside the area, drives, blocked by Byrne. Tottenham corner, and again last-ditch effective defending from Newcastle. Quickly to the F1, Harry Benjamin.
Lap 31 of 53, Oscar Piastri still leads 3 seconds to Lando Norris. The two McLarens, though, have been told they can race. Leclerc and the Ferrari is chasing them for third.
Well, Porro's delivery and deflected off the bar. Tottenham played the corner short, and now they've hit the woodwork. Took a big deflection, has rattled off the woodwork, with Nick Pope beaten as Kulusevski picked it up. Anthony Gordon dispossesses him just outside the penalty area, tries to play it off Kulusevski. He'll have it once again, Gordon. Well, both sides now rattling the crossbar at that end of the ground in front of the Gallagher. Newcastle still lead 1-0, but Tottenham really pushing for this equaliser in the early stages of this second half. 10 minutes gone on 5 live as Udogie plays it out to the left-hand side, and Maddison with the blue boots picks it up, left-hand side of the penalty area now. Low shot across goal, Pope's fumbled it, and it's back across, and can't be kept out on the line. Brennan Johnson, the substitute, with the effort back across goal, and Dan Burn trying to get back there and defend, can only deflect the ball into his own net. Might have been on target anyway from Johnson, and Postecoglou won't care. He's out, he's applauding. Tottenham have levelled, it's 1-1.
Yeah, and the way that it started the second half, the changes that Ange Postecoglou made has made a massive difference. They've just taken this game completely to Newcastle, who could only play in the break, and you did feel it was coming there. The ball was played down. I'm trying to see if there was any chance of an offside there. And by the way, that is an absolute 100% own goal by Dan Burn. I don't think it's going in there. He tries to clear it, and he roofs it. He absolutely roofs it.
And you know what, the frustration for the Newcastle defence, it's initially on target from Johnson, but Pope makes a brilliant save, pours it away. That means it's going away from goal, and Dan Burn on the goal line can only slam it into the roof of his own net. So 1-1, Tottenham coming forward again. Kulusevski, brilliant skill down by the byline. The ricochet goes for a corner. Looked like it might have come off Kulusevski there, but it's more the Gallagher end protesting rather than the Newcastle players. Well, Tottenham have started this second half as brilliantly as Newcastle started the first, and at the moment it's all Newcastle can do to hang on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought it was dangerous moments after the ball hit the crossbar, but it's been dangerous moments since the change, since half-time.
Corner short again, they've been doing that all game, Tottenham. What can they do here as they work it out to Maddison? Edge of the penalty area, Porro sends the ball across, it's cleared away by the head of Lloyd Kelly, but Newcastle are so deep. The black and white shirts camped around their own penalty area as the ball's out of play for a Tottenham throw.
It's interesting to see what Eddie Howe does. Can he tactically change it to adapt to now? Because they're camped. They're absolutely camped in their own half. In fact, their own last third. They need to do something to get out.
Tottenham in possession midway through the Newcastle half. It's 1-1. So they whip the ball into the area. Son goes down. No penalty appeal from the South Korean. Maddison's won it back. They just cannot keep hold of the ball at the moment. Guimaraes dispossessed. Maddison brought down by Guimaraes. Well, Son had the ball right outside the D there. Guimaraes is going to get a yellow. And you just wonder really whether Rob Jones could have allowed play to continue, because they were still in a good position there. This, however, is a very good position, and this is Maddison too.
Well, very importantly, Guimaraes, he'd been done, he'd been left behind. He has had very little impact in this game, and that was just sheer anger. So the referee knew that free kick was going to come long before it came. So he was reaching for his card before the connection actually happened. And you just wonder now, I mean, is it Tonali? Do you need to look to Tonali now? Because if you're looking at that midfield for Newcastle, they have absolutely no control whatsoever on the ball, whereas Spurs, utter domination.
And they're all on yellow cards now. Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff and their captain Bruno Guimaraes. So, got a few options in terms of set-piece takers here, Tottenham. Dead central position, 25 yards out. You would think, with players of the quality of Maddison, you've got Porro there as well, that they're going to go for goal here, Tottenham. Could try something different though. We've seen quite a few set pieces where they've used a training ground routine and played it along the grounds.
This is perfect position, you think? Almost perfect position to have a shot.
Well, both Porro and Maddison look like they fancy this. So let's see. Tottenham with the free kick, and it's struck over the bar by Pedro Porro. Hop, skip and a jump of frustration. Manchester United against Liverpool coming up on 5 Live at 4 o'clock, and from Old Trafford, John Murray has the teams.
And Vicky, I have news of first starts for Manchester United for both Zirkzee and De Ligt, and also Garnacho gets his first start of the season for Manchester United. So 3 changes from the team that started at Brighton, and that means Maguire's on the bench, Mount is injured, and Amad Diallo loses his place for this match as well. Remember, new signing Manuel Ugarte can't play yet, and Liverpool's new signing Federico Chiesa is not involved for them. In fact, Arne Slot goes with the same team that started against Brentford last Sunday afternoon, when you were watching, of course.
I was indeed. On a Slot's first Anfield game as Liverpool manager. Perfect start to the season so far for his reign. 2 2-0 wins.
There's quite a lot going on here, isn't there? Right in front of us just now. Like, the players stopped, all the players have come over for a drink of water. However, there are things going on. Pope's gone down injured. To be honest, he's not absolutely covered himself in glory today, has he? You know, palming balls that you think should have been caught. So, not absolutely his best day, but he's gone down injured. And whether that's a set injury where you have to go down and give your team a chance to make an adaptation, I think Murphy will come on just now. But certainly changes need to be made for Newcastle just now, because they have completely lost the second half. They've not been in it apart from maybe a couple of breaks. Yeah, loath to cast any aspersions as I am. I think he's going to be all right. It's Harvey Barnes, Newcastle's goal scorer in the first half, comes off, and Jacob Murphy comes on. Murphy, who got a brace against Tottenham when Newcastle beat them 6-1 here a couple of years ago. But I think you're right in terms of what you say about Nick Pope, Pat. He is up to his feet. He's going to take this goal kick on the edge of his 6-yard box. Recall to the England squad for the first time since the 2022 World Cup in midweek. Of course, wasn't helped by that dislocated shoulder that saw him miss so much of last season, as Joe Linton wins a free kick on the edge of the 6-yard box. But again, as Newcastle wait to take this free kick and Joe Linton is still down, this is where the conversations about the transfer window, the fact that Newcastle weren't able to bring in a reinforcement, particularly at centre-half, having gone after Mark Gay for much of the window. They still have Jamal Lascelles and Sven Botman out because of their ACLs. Fabian Schär is serving the last match of his suspension today, so he'll be a huge player for them to have back. But, you know, Dan Burn and Kraft, I think, have played well, but it's just, if you need to change something, if somebody picks up an injury or it isn't quite working or there's a little bit of shakiness, that is where the reinforcements are not there in the way that they would want. Yeah, I would say the midfield's a big question as well, you know, and Tonali almost is like a new player in many ways, but he needs to get up to the speed of the game. That's the difficulty.
And this game is being played at a frenetic pace as Porro plays the ball in. It's dinked away by the toe of Emil Kraft out of the penalty area. Lloyd Kelly ducks underneath it. Good decision making there. And the ball is out of play for a Newcastle throw. It's 1-1, 62 minutes played.
Well, the other thing to talk about Newcastle and their problems with making changes, you know, they've really only got Isak as the main one available now up front. And Isak quite often last season, very regularly, if he started, he got replaced and rested. Not now.
Here goes Brennan Johnson. He's made a real difference since coming off the bench, as that ball in is intercepted by Sean Longstaff before it reaches Maddison on the edge of the area. And Newcastle keep it away though. Here is Maddison, left-hand side approaching the byline, pulls it back to Udogie, who really was getting into the box at every opportunity in the first few minutes of this second half, as Tottenham peppered the Newcastle penalty area with attacks. They found that equaliser, the own goal from Dan Burn, forced by this man, Brennan Johnson, right-hand side of the box, plays it off Kelly, Tottenham corner.
You're absolutely right about Brennan Johnson. He's come on a mission, hasn't he? I mean, obviously there's competition for places. You know, there's another winger coming, Odegaard, but there's, you know, lots and lots of players that have played that wide right area. So when you get a chance, you need to prove it to the manager. Now, Brennan Johnson at the start of the second half has done exactly that.
They played the corner short again. Here is Odegaard, challenged by Anthony Gordon. Kulusevski will pick it up for Tottenham. Under a little bit of pressure from Gordon, pulls it back to James Maddison, plays the ball into the area right-footed, not the best delivery, headed away by a stooping Lloyd Kelly, picked up by Basuma, edge of the box, might go for goal here, cleared away by Sean Longstaff, but they're deep at the moment, Newcastle, they can't spring this counter. Isak loses out, and it's well defended by Porro, who steers it back to Udogie, who will go all the way back to Vicario.
Yep, well done there, Porro. A lot of pressure from Isak, but Isak is as good as anyone in those sort of situations where the ball is bouncing between two players, but Porro's stuck to his guns.
Tottenham with the ball on half halfway. They just cannot retain possession at the moment, Newcastle, and you can hear the frustration around St James's Park. Here's Kulusevski, picked up now by Johnson. Low ball in, Son was almost in there, couldn't get there ahead of Pope, who dives and gathers. So 1-1 here, approaching the midway point of the second half. It's also 1-1 between Chelsea and Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. That commentary is over on the BBC Sport website. 4 o'clock, Manchester United against Liverpool is our commentary with John Murray and Dion Dublin. And earlier in the Scottish Premiership, the Old Firm derby at Celtic Park was won by Celtic by 3-0. Here is Gordon, nice bit of skill just outside the centre circle. And now Longstaff getting forward, centred out to the right hand side, and Livramento, bit of space for Guimaraes. Lovely ball forward to the edge of the box, and Longstaff is very well challenged by Romero. And Maddison and Bissouma between them, helped out by Oliver, will work it forward. Bissouma on the turn, new Longstaff is right behind him. Tottenham still just inside their own half. Play it out to the left-hand side and just slow the tempo down, Pat.
For the first time in this entire second half, everything's been played in the Ange Boyle style up to now in this second half, and it's been quick. They've been closing down, not allowing Newcastle to breathe in the midfield. They've got more attack-minded players on after that change at half-time as well. So, I don't think they'll rest for long. They want another goal.
Udoka is giving the ball away, stepping into central midfield from left back again, and Newcastle bring it forward. Here was Joe Linton on the halfway line, taken over by Guimaraes. Another nice ball forward to Isak, and now Gordon, advantage played. There was a foul in there, but it's a good advantage. Gordon picked up now by Jacob Murphy. Brilliant save. Vicario had to adjust and dive down to his right at the near post. Murphy took the shot early. It was creeping in. It's beaten away by Vicario for a Newcastle corner.
Yeah, it sums up their second half. Just the odd break. But they look good when they make that odd break. Good goalkeeper. That was done at pace there. He went down low to his right hand side and saved it. But what about the noise? These fans are really getting behind Newcastle to try and drag them back in.
Yeah, great reactions, as he so often shows, from Guillermo Vicario, as Anthony Gordon stands over this corner kick. Sends it into that packed 6-yard box. It's headed away powerfully by Bissouma for Tottenham, as Gordon will pick it up once more midway through the Tottenham half. Newcastle 1, Tottenham 1 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Sean Longstaff will play it all the way back to Nick Pope. Out to the left-hand side he goes. I think Gordon felt like it might have been offside. Wasn't going to get there anyway. Eddie Howe's not happy on the touchline as Kulusevski picks it up. Right-hand side down to the byline, up against Lloyd Kelly. Kulusevski still outside the box. Pulls it back now to Pedro Porro getting forward. And now James Maddison, edge of the D. Back to Kulusevski, right-hand side of the area. Well, very intricate from Tottenham, but they lose possession. And then that was a late challenge from James Maddison. He's raised a hand in apology on Guimaraes, who jumped up. He was so furious at how Maddison had flown in there, but in the end it simmers down very quickly. Maddison booked. Decisive refereeing from Rob Jones, and Guimaraes will let it go. We're about to have a double change. Hall and Tonali are going to come on for Newcastle, but before then let's head to the cricket. Ellie.
England edging their way towards victory. Dinesh Chandimal, the big wicket, he's gone for 58 off 62 balls. Just chipping one up from Atkinson to Lawrence at square leg. 195 for 6. Now Sri Lanka. England need 4 more wickets.
And that huge roar you've just heard at St James's Park is for Sandro Tonali, replacing Sean Longstaff. Lewis Hall is on for Lloyd Kelly. But what a big moment this for Sandro Tonali. He made his comeback a day after that 10-month ban for breaches of betting regulations expired on Tuesday. Started in the League Cup on Wednesday, played 62 minutes, and now plays in the Premier League for the first time since the 21st of October 2023 for Newcastle United. Big moment for the Italy international, as Brennan Johnson heads it forward, and Joe Linton will intercept for Newcastle United. Out to the right-hand side. Appeal for handball against Jacob Murphy, not least from Ange Postecoglou, who's right down in front of our position here in the press box, but nothing doing from referee Rob Jones, and Newcastle have it once more. 1-1 here on 5 Live. Pat Niven.
Yeah, interesting to see which Tonali we see. I can remember being here for his debut for Newcastle, and he was spellbinding. He was brilliant.
Newcastle not brilliant there though. They've given the ball away. Here is Son approaching the penalty area, out to the left-hand side. Tottenham looking for an opportunity with Audebert, just overran it. Newcastle goal kick.
Good defending, really good defending, because Audebert was very, very quick, but he didn't have enough space there to get down the line. And you're talking about Tonali, that brilliant start he had, and then it faded, and it was much less effective in some of the games. And I wondered whether at the time it was because him and Guimaraes weren't working well together. Of course, we found out he had things on his mind.
Ball goes out of play for a throw to Newcastle, right in front of their manager Eddie Howe. So they are on the pitch together, Tonali and Guimaraes. Still early days in terms of game time, in terms of that partnership. So let's just keep an eye on that. I know, Pat, it's something you spoke about before the game as Newcastle give the ball away again. Audebert, shot blocked away. It'll go out for a Tottenham corner, but that's a couple of times in the last 2 minutes that it's absolutely criminal from Newcastle.
Yeah, looking at Newcastle, you're playing out for the back, not good enough there. However, Audebert, you've got to play Son in there. You've got two players tackling you. Son's made a brilliant run out wide. Just flick it round the corner to him. It's a tap-in, and he just didn't see it. It's not that he was being greedy, he just didn't see it.
Well, he's still 19 years of age, the France under-21 international. Kulusevski swings the ball in, powerful header by Dragoshin. It's wide at the far post. Well, he rose well, the Romanian international. It's a Newcastle goal kick. Goal at Sheffield United in the Championship against Watford, Stephen Wyatt.
Yeah, how about this for a fast start for Sheffield United? They lead by a goal inside 90 seconds. Wonderful work. Callum O'Hare down the right-hand side, got to the byline and somehow managed to poke the ball past Daniel Bachmann. Sheffield United 1, so far perfect. Watford 0.
And to Stamford Bridge, Sohail Sahi.
Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1 into the final 70 minutes of the game here. And since Crystal Palace equalised through Eze, they've been the better side. They've created a few chances and been denied by good defending by the home team. Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Commentary continues on the BBC Sport website as Newcastle break forward. That will be a free kick over on the far side.
Doing a little bit more from Newcastle now in the last 10 minutes or so. You know, the changes in the personnel, it's broken up a little bit, and they're not being utterly dominated. And I can see in the middle there Maddison saying to his teammates, calm it down a little bit. Well, that's not the Ange Postecoglou way. They don't want to calm down, they want to play with all the energy they can possibly use. So better balance the game now. I think Newcastle have got back into it. They've weathered some of the storm and only lost one goal, but we've got a real big showdown these last 20 minutes or so.
They have a free kick on the halfway line. Manchester United and then against Liverpool is our commentary coming up at 4 o'clock on 5 Live. 6:06 follows that, a jam-packed afternoon, and we'll be at the Paralympics from 8 this evening as Dragoshin hits the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. Ball goes out of play for a throw to Newcastle midway through the Tottenham half, taken quickly by Lewis Hall to Anthony Gordon. Johnson gets a foot in. He's been so impressive since coming off the bench, and he evades the sliding challenge of Gordon, and he's away down the right-hand side. Son Heung-min's in the centre. Johnson pulls the ball across. Almost another own goal. Bruno Guimaraes has busted an absolute gut to get back there and make that interception. It was a vital one because Son was lurking on the corner of the 6-yard box, but that only just trickled past the post, that interception from Guimaraes. It's a Tottenham corner.
Everyone was thinking exactly the same thing. It could easily have been on goal. Anthony Gordon looked exhausted there, trying to catch up with Brennan Johnson there. He had no chance, and he's not slow. However, Johnson is ridiculously quick, but also he's tired. There's no doubt there's a few tired Newcastle players out there.
Tottenham take the corner short again. Here's Porro, now to Bissouma, edge of the D. It's well closed down by Tonali for Newcastle as Porro goes down. Was he pulled back there by Jacob Murphy? Yes, he was. Free kick Tottenham, but you are right in particular about Anthony Gordon. He really is looking tired, but it's Tottenham who are preparing to make another change. Timo Werner is about to come on.
Yeah, and he's not sluggish either, is he? So he'll come on and he'll push it that bit. Comes as well, I was going to call it before it actually harmed there, but it was a certainty Audebert would come off just now. He's not been bad today, but he's got a little bit to learn at this level, but he's got some talent, he's got lots of pace.
So, as Pat says, Audebert is off. He's had a couple of really good openings in this game, the 19-year-old, but still waiting for that first Tottenham goal. Timo Werner, back on loan from RB Leipzig this season, is on. A couple of goals in his half-season loan for Tottenham last season. So they look to take the lead here at St James's Park. Corner from this right-hand side, the far right. Pedro Porro is over it. There's the sole Newcastle player of Anthony Gordon in the wall. Everyone else lined up on the edge of the penalty area. So Porro whips it in high, right-footed, poor delivery, headed away by Livramento, collected by Tottenham over on the far side, scooped back to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed down by Johnson, cleared away by Newcastle, only as far as Maddison. He went for the curler, brilliant save poke. Tottenham corner to the F1, Harry Benjamin.
Brilliant save, top corner there. He knew it was coming. There was only one place he could play it. It was in the top corner, but goalkeeper read it. Great save there. Cameras would have loved it.
We'll go to the F1 shortly. That's over on the BBC Sport website, but it's always a risk because Tottenham keep taking these corners short. They're not going to do so this time. So let's see what they'll do. Left hand raised in the air, and it's swung into the edge of that 6-yard box, cleared away by Newcastle, but they're all inside their own penalty area, so Tottenham can recycle. Porro now drives. Did Pope get a touch on that? Yes, he did. It's another Tottenham corner to the F1. Harry Benjamin.
It's lap 45 of 53. How things can change. Are we looking at a Ferrari win on home soil? Can Charles Leclerc manage his ties to the end without stopping again? That's what he's trying to do, but Piastri is chasing both Ferraris right now to try and stop them.
Thanks very much, Harry. Commentary continues over on the BBC Sport website. So, Tottenham corner, Maddison over it. Werner's there, but will just move away, as does Kulusevski. James Maddison has just moved the assistant Darren Bond out of his way there as well. And now swings it into the edge of the 6-yard box, flipped away again. Newcastle make first contact but can't get second. Bissouma has it on the corner of the penalty area, out to the left-hand side, play to the edge of the box, and Kulusevski. Newcastle wondering about stepping up, but Porro has it now, drives, blocks away, lovely control by Johnson, 1 touch, 2 touch, and then fires over the bar into the Gallagher, 1-1.
Since the last time I talked to you, which was only a moment or two ago, there have been 4 shots from outside the box by Tottenham Hotspur. They are just digging it from there all the time. Love to know how many shots they've actually had in this game so far, but that was the one, just for the final one there. It was blocked, but that's what you look for sometimes, a deflection falls to one of your teammates and you may get a goal out of that. They've been quite unlucky because very little has dropped to them from those huge amount of attempts they've had from that sort of area. Still on top, Spurs, but not utterly dominant the way they were in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half.
14 minutes to play plus added time. Newcastle 1, Tottenham 1. Nick Pope is just starting to take a little bit more time over those goal kicks as Newcastle have it midway through the Tottenham half. It would preserve this scoreline, both sides unbeaten starts to the season. And after what Eddie Howe has admitted has been a frustrating transfer window, I think Newcastle would say this is definitely a positive point for them against the Tottenham side who was so effective against Everton last time out. They've won a corner though, neither side certainly giving up hope of winning this game. Newcastle corner. Yeah,
Murphy, first time on the ball, right hand side there. Needs to be a little bit lively, he needs to get on the ball as much as he can, so he's won a corner kick, so he's done the right thing there. But very noticeably, Tonali's much further up there than the player that he's replaced beforehand. And Longstaff, so real, that may well give him a chance, because what a story that would be if Tonali could score in his game back, first game back.
Oh, this place would erupt. He has scored once for Newcastle on his debut last August, and they're looking to retake the lead here from this corner. It's swung in, right-footed. Joe Linton was in there. Will come to Murphy on the edge of the area, well blocked away by Timo Werner. Lewis Hall will keep it alive, but Tottenham will now clear and look to counter. Kulusevski is chasing this. Livramento, his counterpart, number 21, just had a look over his shoulder, nodded the ball back to Pope. He's so composed, isn't he, Tino Livramento?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the shots here. 20 shots they've had so far in this game, and you know, that's like shots, not just like things that could be looked at as shots or pass backs or crosses in the box. They are just hammering it there. Let's see if it can work out for them.
Newcastle coming forward though. Here is Jacob Murphy bursting towards the penalty area. It's a great run, unselfish. Isak flag stays down. Brilliant counter-attacking goal from Newcastle United. It's Alexander Isak who's scored it, but every single player in a black and white shirt has gone to Jacob Murphy because that was brilliant, that was unselfish, that was Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1.
You're looking at the changes managers make, and they want to make a change that has an effect in the game. Well, Johnson came on and he made a change to it and got a goal for Spurs in the start of the second half. However, the change here was just the personnel. It wasn't a change in what the style has been. They have been looking very dangerous in the break for the vast majority of the game. They've been limited amounts of them to start the second half, but on this occasion they're broken out from the back there. It's a very high line from Spurs. Is it offside, is it not? It's never offside. Plenty of pace there, and by the way, he could have shot, but he did the right thing, found Isak. He'll never ever score an easier goal.
First goal of the season for Alexander Isak. 25 he hits last campaign for Sweden international, and that is what Newcastle can do on the counter. They have been under the cosh in this second half, and we saw a shot of Ange Postecoglou's face after that goal went in. He's standing there, he so rarely changes his position, good or bad, rain or shine, standing there with his hands in his pockets, but I'm not sure he'll be able to believe that they haven't taken the lead and taken one of those 20 shots that they've had. 6 on target in this game. They've hit the woodwork, Tottenham, in this second half, as Newcastle did early on in the first. But always, Pat, you said it throughout this half, Newcastle have always consistently looked dangerous on the counter, and as Tottenham have a throw over on the far side, that is exactly what has borne fruit.
Well, 2 reasons for it. Yeah, we've got lots of pace. Isak is fantastic at holding the ball up and running players. Because he runs long, it develops a bit of space there that they can use. Murphy used it in this occasion. They brought on Tonali as well. He's looking fresh there, so that helps. Do you know the other thing that helps? You're playing against a team that are attacking, all-out attack, and will leave the odd gap, and that's the downside that you've got for Tottenham Hotspur and their style. But I tell you what, Ange will never change it. Even if he get beat, he'll never change it.
Newcastle have a throw on the halfway line. Bentancur and Bergvall are preparing to come on as Dan Burns sends it back to Emil Kraft. And out to the right-hand side, and Jacob Murphy now forward for the run of Tino Livramento. He's up against Romero, who should get there, does get there, and steers it back to Vicario. He's being closed down by Livramento. Out to the right-hand side, and Porro, and all of a sudden it's Newcastle doing the closing down. Gordon forcing the error, suddenly got a few more yards in those legs, Anthony Gordon. He looks absolutely knackered, but he is now, along with the rest of the Newcastle side, closing down as they work it out to the right-hand side, and Jacob Murphy pressured by Timo Werner, and will play it to Joelinton. Out to the right-hand side, and Sandro Tonali. He's surrounded by the blue-grey shirts of Tottenham, so works it out to Livramento, hugging that right-hand touchline, and all of a sudden the confidence is coming back into Newcastle's players. Jacob Murphy picks it up, long ball into the penalty area, all the way across the box, picked up by Anthony Gordon. Tottenham just looking a little bit stretched at the back at the moment. That's good play by Porro to stand up against Gordon, but here is Isak, who's restored Newcastle's lead in this second half. Good ball then by Gordon, picked up by Kulusevski, out to the right-hand side now, and Brennan Johnson, but it's Tottenham now, pinned back inside their own half. Interception by Sandro Tonali. Joelinton then gives it away. Basuma takes it off the toes of Tonali. Free kick. Let's head to the cricket. Ellie Oldroyd.
Sri Lanka have lost their 7th wicket, and a key one. Kamindu Mendes, highest scorer for Sri Lanka in this series. Just flashing a run from Gus Atkinson, caught by Ben Duckett at slip. Out for 4. Sri Lanka 200 for 7.
Thank you, Ellie. Commentary continues on 5 Sports Extra. Huge cheers from St James's Park as James Maddison goes off and is replaced by the Sweden international Lucas Bergvall, arrived this summer from Swedish top flight side Djurgården. Rodrigo Bentancur, back from concussion, is on for Yves Bissouma. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and again, they did the job at the start of the second half. They controlled that midfield there, and then suddenly it's just disappeared. And it is about bringing fresh legs on. And that right-hand side over there of the midfield in Newcastle is totally different now. Murphy's added something, Tonali's added something, and because of that, it's lifted the crowd, it's lifted the players. Gordon looks a different player. He was out, and he's suddenly back looking sharp again. It's amazing, the psychology of this game when you can score a goal.
So Tottenham in possession. Romero has it over the halfway line. 7.5 minutes plus added time to play. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. As Pedro Porro plays it forward, looking for the run of Kulusevski. Right-hand side of the penalty area, cuts the ball across. Bergvall was arriving, can't reach it. Tottenham have won it back though. Johnson, Bentancur, and now Timo Werner. Udogie getting involved on the left-hand side, cuts the ball across, stopped away by Joelinton. Out for a Tottenham throw.
That's what Tottenham will try to do just now. They want to get control of the game again. A wee bit harder to do it. Madison's not on the field anymore. He was a large part of that control. Let's see if Bergvall can do it.
Yeah, just 18 years of age. Lucas Bergvall received his 2nd Sweden call-up for the upcoming international break. As Brennan Johnson picks it up on this right-hand side. Lost by Porro inside the penalty area, and this is where Tottenham are going to continue to be open. Anthony Gordon brought down. Well, Bentancur's a little unlucky there. He gets a touch on the ball, I think. Then he does take out Gordon, and he's going to give away a free kick and also be booked.
Well, we classically have got the best view on the ground here. We're 10 yards away from it, and it looks very clear to both you and I. He gets the ball, he's sliding in, he gets the ball, the referees have always got the giveaway to say, well, he's not in complete control and he could have injured the player. We're seeing it in slow motion here. That's an absolutely beautiful tackle. It's absolutely perfect. And he's got a yellow card for it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be frustrated there. Gordon gets to it first and just gets a touch on it, but then Bentancur brilliantly comes across and blocks it, and that is the the reason why he's so infuriated. Back to the Championship, Sheffield United against Watford, Stephen Wyatt.
Where it should be Sheffield United 2, Watford 0, but Kiefer Moore has just seen a penalty kick saved by Daniel Bachmann, diving to his left to tip it round the post. Great opportunity wasted after the penalty had been won by Ollie Arblaster, fouled by former Blade Yassir Larouchi, but it remains 1-0.
Well, here Alexander Isak is adjudged to have taken that ball out of play. I'm going to say the linesman had a better view of that. But pretty close.
I think you know more about that than the players. They've no idea what was given there. But you're right, it's going out of play. I mean, it's a little bit of a lull here, just for a few moments. But there's probably 10 minutes of football left here, and you just get a feeling something's going to happen. I'm not saying a goal, but there will be chances between now and the end.
Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1, and Joe Linton coming forward. It's Isak inside the area again. Couple of ricochets. Vicario, did he prevent the corner? No, he didn't. Newcastle corner.
Yeah, it's winding up now. And again, unrecognisable, but they're chasing down there. Joe Linton, he's another one who's got a second wind after looking as if he was out of it. Actually, as we speak just now, he's leaning over and he does seem exhausted just now. But again, chances. And one player who would love to do something, score a goal, Dan Burn, after he put one through his own net earlier on in the game.
Yeah, despite that own goal, he's had a really good game, Dan Burn, some really important
He's just
blocks.
unlucky with the own goal.
Yeah. And if Pope does, we'll dissect that in a moment, because Newcastle take the corner. Flying leap in the centre from Dan Burn. He didn't make any contact. Ball goes out of the penalty area, and Anthony Gordon will pick it up once again, plays it forward. A couple of Newcastle players are offside there, and Udogie can head it back to Vicario. Yeah, it's one of those where Burn, he knows the shot's coming across from Johnson. He's sliding in at the far post, trying to cut it out, and it's the brilliant save from Pope that ironically changes the trajectory of the ball, and so then Burn again has a split second to make a decision and ends up just sticking it into the roof of his own.
It's one of those ones, if it hits your leg and goes in, you know, you almost say that can happen sometimes, you accept it. However, when you go and try and smash it and goes in, it just looks worse.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go with it. He went into the back of the net, but Newcastle have retaken the lead through Alexander Isak, and they lead by 2-1. Here is Timo Werner, pulls it back to Bentancur. Again, Newcastle's players camped outside their own penalty area as Udogie has it. Back to Bentancur once more, but Tottenham just looking a little short on ideas at the moment. Out to the left-hand side they go, and Werner again, and now Son Heung-min tried to play the ball into the area to Bergvall. Son goes down, nothing doing from referee Rob Jones, but Kulusevski picks it up for Tottenham out to the right-hand side, and Brennan Johnson, who's been a real bright spark since coming off the bench for this second half. Kulusevski's dink ball in, it's headed away by Jacob Murphy. Kulusevski then got a little shuffle, Gordon, a little tussle there, and eventually the whistle goes, and it's a free kick to Newcastle, which Eddie Howe approved.
Again, you've called it spot on there. Really clever by Gordon. Gordon, he basically shoved him over there. And of course, Kulusevski's furious. He does a little bit of a drag back. As I say that, Kulusevski's explaining exactly that to the referee, who didn't spot the first foul, but clever by Anthony Gordon.
He is absolutely fuming, Dejan Kulusevski. And it's a free kick to Newcastle. Newcastle who lead by 2-1. This would make it 2 wins out of 3 at the start of the Premier League season for Newcastle, as well as that League Cup victory in midweek on penalties. It's ending Tottenham's unbeaten start to this season. They still have 2 minutes plus added time to play as Isak, big shove there on Porro. Newcastle do win the ball back with Isak eventually, but Gordon plays it straight into Porro. Kulusevski plays it off Joe Linton, kept in by Brennan Johnson. Son now, and the run of Timo Werner is a good one, and Dan Burn racing to try and keep pace with him. It's Werner, right-hand side of the penalty area. Tottenham looking for this late equaliser. Brilliant challenge by Dan Burn. Tottenham corner.
Do you know what? Dan Burn is never going to stay with Timo Werner for pace. However, you always thought those long legs would get it in the end, and they did. Great tackle there by Dan Burn. Didn't panic at all, but he's giving away a corner kick.
As we say, he's had a really good game, as has Kraft. They are short in the centre-half department. Dan Burn has featured there regularly for them, but Fabian Schär's return will be welcome. Bergvall whips this corner in. It's cleared away. It's going to be another corner. Newcastle are saying that potentially that got a touch off a Tottenham player. In fact, it's gone out for a throw, but it is to Tottenham. So Bergvall has it. Plays it to Porro, nice little drag back to Bergvall once more, the 18-year-old under pressure from Gordon. Referee plays advantage because Tottenham's still in possession with Bentancur, and now with Doggy easing away from Alexander Isak, whose late second half goal has put Newcastle United on the brink of getting all 3 points here against Tottenham on 5 Live. Manchester United against Liverpool to come. Our commentary from 4 in the Premier League with John Murray and Dion Dublin. 6:06 follows that. As Newcastle's fans raise their voice inside St James's Park once again. Udogie plays it back to Christian Romero. Again, it's stationary at the moment from Tottenham. They're just looking for the option. And Romero has it once more. Taking Maddison off, question mark?
Surprising, really, because I've not dominated the game as much, but he stopped creating a little bit, and he had tried everything he could. He was playing 100 different positions, but it does surprise me. It was an eyebrow to raise.
They've just lost a little bit of the pace with which they're playing at the moment, although that's a decent ball from Romero towards Kulusevski in the area, headed away by Dan Burn. Joe Ellington picks it up. Tottenham win it back midway through the Newcastle half. Here is Bentancur, steps in field, but well marshalled by Jacob Murphy as we enter 5 minutes of added time at the end of this second half. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. Here is Romero over the halfway line. Newcastle stepping up to defend here, and that's a good decision because Tonali's won it, and Guimaraes will send it forward, and they're off on the counter again. Here goes Anthony Gordon. Porro racing to get back. Gordon to the edge of the penalty area just about, but then checks and plays it back to Guimaraes. A little swipe at him there, Kulusevski, and that did make contact, and Ange Postecoglou is frustrated, and it's a free kick to Newcastle just outside the Tottenham penalty area, and Bruno Guimaraes there, the Newcastle captain, waving at the Newcastle fans behind the goal. They're attacking, both arms saying, come on, give us your backing, we're nearly there.
Do you know what? I mean, brilliant break by Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, but one player above everyone else, hammered up there with incredible pace, and it was Tonali. Tonali was extraordinary getting up there, getting on the end of what possibly could have been a pass through to him. Well, he's another player that's suited to this style, very much so.
Well, he was absolutely knackered when he came off after 62 minutes in the League Cup in midweek. 10 months is a really long time, no matter whether you've been in full training, which he has or not. Really long time without a game. So he's still getting back up to speed fitness-wise, but as Pat said, very impressive there, breaking forward. So free kick to Newcastle, swung in high by Gordon, poor delivery, straight into the arms of Vicario on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Do you know the last thing you do with a free kick there is give it to the goalkeeper? Of all the things you're going to do, that's what you don't do. And Anthony Gordon has really poor delivery there, gives Spurs the ball, gives him an opportunity to go and attack again. I looked right at Eddie Howe, he just looked away in disgust.
3 minutes of added time to play. Here comes Brennan Johnson, bit of space down this right-hand side. He's got it behind, ball whipped across, no one was in the 6-yard box. It's a brilliant delivery, but it's spun all the way out for a Newcastle throw. Back to Stamford Bridge, Sahel Sahi.
Well, we're in the 95th minute, Vicky. Still Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1, but this is going from end to end, and Nicholas Jackson with the latest chance inside the penalty area is met by Dean Henderson. Real brave goalkeeping from the Crystal Palace stopper. On we go, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Commentary over on the BBC Sport website. What a ball that was from Brennan Johnson. It just needed a player in there to get a touch as the ball goes out of play for a Newcastle throw on the far side.
Son made to go in there and then changed his mind and thought, well, I'll come out of it in case it's a cutback. And sometimes you just take a chance. It's a 50-50. It went across the goal. It was screaming for someone to go and attack it, and nobody could. And Eddie Howe cleverly now is going to make a substitution. Some more legs from Almiron. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Anthony Gordon, because he's run himself into the ground today. Also slows the game down.
Yep, Almiron about to come on for Newcastle, as Pat says. They have 2 minutes plus added time to hold out here. They lead 2-1, but Tottenham are coming forward. Here is Kulusevski. He's got players to aim for. He played it behind Werner and Son, and Newcastle can intercept inside their own penalty area. Guimaraes goes down, wins a free kick. Grimace of frustration from Brennan Johnson, but it's a set piece for Newcastle, and here comes that change, and you called it, Pat. It is Anthony Gordon, and it's Miguel Almiron coming in.
Yeah, I don't think it was a hard one to call. He was right in front of us. He was a bit exhausted, didn't he? You've got to say Anthony Gordon, he has been very, very good today, and it's not just the attacking play, it's the pace he's got going forward. His delivery has been magnificent in so many areas, so well done Anthony Gordon. And adding top of that, when they lost the ball, they went back into a 4-5-1, and Anthony Gordon was working as hard as anyone else. He can be very pleased with work today, and I'm sure Eddie Howe is too.
I'll still give it you, Pat. It's still a right call. It might have been a tap-in, but they all count the same, eh?
Exactly.
Nick Pope with the free kick for Newcastle, who are nearly there into the final 60 seconds of added time. They lead Tottenham by 2-1. Almiron getting involved straight away. Can't keep that ball in, though, and it goes out for a Tottenham throw. Midway inside their own half. Can they fashion a final attack? As Porro sends it over the halfway line. Dragishin's getting up forward now, the centre half, as they throw caution to the wind, Tottenham. Porro launches it long once again. Cleared away by Jacob Murphy, who's impressed since coming on, so key in setting up Alexander Isak for what looks as though it will be Newcastle's late winner in this second half, as Vicario clears away over the halfway line. Joe Linton wins the header. Isak clearly offside, will have to leave that ball. Tonali won't, though. He's over there putting on the pressure on Udogie. Goes out of play for a Tottenham throw, and Udogie's thinking about going back to Vicario. Isak closes that off, so it goes to Bentancur. Seconds left to play. Referee Rob Jones, all eyes on him in the centre circle as Tottenham have it. Dragishin over the halfway line it goes, as it has to go forward now for Tottenham. Trapp heads the ball away, could have let it run through to Pope, kept alive by Bergvall. Now Timo Werner, edge of the penalty area for Tottenham. Bentancur pulls it back. Udogie now sends it forward. Tottenham still coming forward. Oh, Werner's gone down. Is there going to be time? No, it's not even given as a free kick. It's given as a goal kick. I was going to say, is there going to be time to take the free kick? But Timo Werner is given short shrift by referee Rob Jones. It's a Newcastle goal kick, and surely they're there now.
Yeah, I mean, they have fought well in the second half to get back when they looked as if they were on the ropes. Certainly when it went to 1-1, it looked like there was only going to be one winner, but they've brought themselves back. Eddie Howe's made some changes that have worked very, very well. And just teams have control of certain parts of the games, and you need to weather that storm. Newcastle, up here in the north east, seems to have weathered that storm.
Well, for so many years, this has been a fortress for Newcastle United, and they're heading for another home victory. Nick Pope takes the goal kick, and there goes the final whistle. Big double-handed clenched fist celebration from Bruno Guimaraes, the Newcastle captain. Their unbeaten start to this season continues. Tottenham's is over. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. It finishes. Pat Nevin.
Really enjoyable game. Football could have actually gone either way. Newcastle fans will say they're the better team, but be fair, 33% of the possession the home team had, and also half the amount of shots on target. But that doesn't matter. It's the ones that go in the goals. So out on Newcastle, I think they'll improve from here, and maybe the most important player is the one we hardly mentioned. Tonali is back, and that's going to give them a huge lift going forward. So well done, Newcastle. Big one. The first big one of the day has been won by them.
Isak, the match winner in the second half after Barnes had put Newcastle ahead in the first. The own goal from Bernard levelled things up. Tottenham with so many chances, but didn't test Pope enough. Did hit the woodwork as Newcastle did too, but in the end it is that goal from Isak that is the difference. It's Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1 at St James's Park.
Vicky, Pat, thank you very much. 2 wins and a draw from their opening 3 then for Newcastle United, despite their transfer woes. Victorious by 2-1 over Tottenham Hotspur. The full-time whistle has also gone at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea Crystal Palace, Sahel Sahi.
Where it's finished 1 apiece, Steve. Riveting football match this was. Points shared, and it was much improved performance from Crystal Palace in the second half. Nicholas Jackson, he opened the scoring for Chelsea after 25 minutes, finishing off a swift counter-attack. At that point, Chelsea were in control, and they should have been further ahead if Madueke converted one of his 2 chances. The momentum shifted to Crystal Palace once Eberechi Eze curled in a wonderful equalising goal. It was outstanding. 22 yards out, he bent it around Robert Sanchez. It was end-to-end for the remaining 35 minutes, with both teams having their moments to claim all 3 points. Full time from the capital. Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Charles Leclerc has won the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. We'll hear more from our F1 team shortly. That's just the second Ferrari win at Monza in the last 14 years. Let's go back into the Championship. Sheffield United at home to Watford. Stephen Wyatt.
And a very impressive first 30 minutes from Sheffield United, who should have more than the 1 goal scored for them. A first for the club from Callum O'Hare inside 90 seconds. A brilliant individual effort. Keeper Moore, more recently, has had a penalty saved by Daniel Bachmann in the Watford goal. In between, Vakunbeo should have equalised for the visitors, but he lifted his effort wide of the target rather than between the posts. Sheffield United 1, Watford 0.
Thank you, Stephen. Back to Lords, Ali Oldroyd.
Sri Lanka 212 for 7 now. England chipping away at those wickets. Gus Atkinson could get another 5 for he's got 2 this afternoon already, Stephen Finn, including that vital wicket of Kamindu Mendes.
Yeah, he's been impressive again, hasn't he, Gus Atkinson? And the unit on a whole, it's not been easy going here today, even paced, pretty slow.